Okay, welcome everybody. This is CBSI Presents Tales from the Flipside number 3. I am Dino, King of Craigslist. Everybody introduce yourselves.
It's Ben S. I always go paper in rock, paper, scissors.
It's Jon Z. Tonight's ramblings are sponsored by some Four Roses small batch, so it should get interesting.
Nice.
Scotty Too Hottie coming at you.
Nice.
This is John Brown. I'm the new guy on the block for tonight. I don't have a catchy intro like the other guys.
P-dubs. And feel free to rewind the podcast because this is what we all sound like.
That is true. That is true. A lot of people can't distinguish me and Paul, so that's a problem.
Paul, well, my brother said it best. He goes, I just assume if it's talk about Ninja Turtles, it's Paul. If it's anything else, it's Dino.
That is a pretty solid observation. So
it's probably because Dino and I both have the same microphone. Maybe that's why.
I didn't know that was a
Quality
requirement acoustic. An acoustic thing of the microphone.
I honestly think it's probably we live an hour away from each other. I'm going to go with that.
We went to the same school and everything.
Yeah.
What's funny is I don't think you guys sound alike at all.
Well, I think because you met us in person.
We're all Midwest, so we all sound the same to everybody else.
Yeah.
When John Brown first hopped on, we were trying to test his mic and stuff. I could have swore it was you, Ben.
Really?
At first, yeah. Then he hopped underneath a couple blankets, and now he sounds all muffled.
I'm talking with my hand over my mouth.
That could have been your intro, John Brown, coming from my blanket fort.
My wife.
No girls allowed. Yes. Okay, let's rip this off. So we have what is on your monthly poll list. Let's hear what everybody has.
I thought we were going to read Death of Superman start to finish first.
No,
that really wouldn't take that long. So we're going to talk some other stuff first.
45 minutes.
Maybe tops.
I printed off my script. All right. Anyway, sorry, Dino. Monthly poll list.
Monthly poll list, my man.
I just kind of basically, yeah. I mean, what else? Turtles. And then that's my only solid poll. Turtles, Walking Dead, and then everything else is just hit or miss. I call them or message my LCS on Facebook, ask for variants and different stuff like that. And if they have it, they have it. If not, then whatever.
So you being the turtle guy that you are, do you is it every turtle title that comes out?
Right now I tell him for the ongoing IDW, just tell him, get me one of every cover that you can. For the Turtles universe, I'm going to stop at issue 10 because I haven't read it. And when it first came out, I heard that it was going to be about more of like the secondary characters in the TMNT universe. So I just figured I'll just stop at issue 10 and whatever.
Who would be considered a second level?
Like just some of the other mutant animals or Baxter Stockman or I mean, I haven't read it, but just different stories about just secondary or third characters in the universe that might tie into the main story or just, I don't know. It doesn't sound like anything that would catch my interest, but I'm saying that without even reading it. So I guess
is that like Bebop and Rocksteady then?
I assume like Casey Jones.
Casey Jones. I mean, they're kind of more mainstream, but just other like Leatherhead maybe, or I don't know. I'd have to read it, I guess, to give it a chance before I just
is Usagi in the IDW universe, or does he get left behind to rights deal somewhere else?
I don't know. I don't know because I haven't read the IDW stuff yet. I'm behind. I'm a terrible fan.
I mean, you still got that ongoing on Dark Horse though, right? Or is it Dark Horse?
I think it's all IDW right now. There's I don't know which series are you talking about?
The Usagi.
Oh, is he? On Dark Horse?
I thought you meant his Turtles ongoing. I never got into Usagi that much, so I don't know if he has a current ongoing series or not.
I just wasn't sure if he was still tied to their universe or if they just kind of, were loosely related early on.
I'm sure they cross paths every now and then. They kind of fed off each other for a while. But and then the Turtles Batman, I'm getting that pulled. The whatever the throwback series is to like the Archie style cartoon, I don't collect for a weekly pull. And then any of the mini series, like back when Turtles Ghostbusters was out, I got that. They did
So anything Turtles you're getting.
pretty much, yeah. They did a Turtles. What was it? Like a Turtles in Time miniseries and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much almost everything.
Yeah, the Turtles and Batman was good. I like that one.
I did too. I read. Paul actually gave me the trade of that, so it was a really good read.
Trey must have really liked it because he still has it.
He's framing the pictures of Damien in there. So.
Didn't they come out with the Turtles and like it was like Batman Adventures?
Yeah, that's an ongoing one right now.
How's that?
I have it, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Life's too crazy busy right now. It sucks.
And Usagi is Dark Horse right now, just to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Dino's covered my ass.
I'm trying to, man.
I haven't even seen a current Usagi at my local shop.
I haven't either.
I wonder if the numbers are just that low, or
I don't know. He's got a dedicated fan base, but I don't think it's very big.
Yeah,
I don't want
ask.
seeing it just when I'm inputting the stuff into the database, and it's like I don't know. It's probably at issue 150, 155, something like that.
Well, we do know he probably has a bigger following than Valiant. So,
ouch.
I mentioned it last time that Usagi Yojimbo, the special edition, is pretty nice. It's a little over. It's almost 1,200 pages.
Whoa!
Yikes! That's like work to read that.
That's what we're going to read for next time.
That's what Paul was using to press his books before he met Trey.
That's right. What else you guys got on your pull lists?
So I'm a bit of a slacker. I'm kind of a man without a home. I have shops around, but the first two that I used both kind of closed when out of business. There's one that I go to the most, but I tend to kind of wander. If I go on during the week, I'll go to different ones and I'll just pick up what I want to read where I go. So I'm probably not the best customer on that front, but I'm pretty good about, I read some of the Teen Titans and I'll drift on a few other titles here and there, but nothing else very regular.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Z. There's not much that is so exciting locally, but if I'm out and I see something like, oh, that looks interesting, I'll buy that. But I think I still have spread on my here at my local, but that's pretty much it as far as like stuff that I actually pull every single month.
Yeah, I'm a little better at like waiting for trades to come out on some of that stuff. I don't know. I don't like waiting.
I'm in the minority here. I have like 20 books on my pull list.
20?
Yeah, about that.
What are they? I threw them all, or do you forget?
No, I have a list here. Funny thing is though, only 3 from the big 2. I got Star Wars, Old Man Logan, and Batman are the only ones I get from Marvel and DC. The rest are pretty much all Image.
There's 17 Image series worth reading.
They're ones that I like. Maybe let me see. 1, 2, 3, 15. I have.
You want to do a little promo on the images that you got reading going right now?
Yeah. I read Birthright, Black Science, Deadly Class, Descender, East of West, Lazarus, Low, Manifest Destiny, Monstrous, Paper Girls, Sex Criminals, Spread, Wicked and Divine, Velvet, and The Walking Dead.
Man, what is your monthly bill?
I don't know.
I know not those series aren't weekly, right?
So no, it's all monthly.
Line up for Image right
or
now.
bi-monthly rather.
Yeah, it's Image. It's not. They aren't. They don't
No,
come
they're
out fast
monthly. And
enough.
some of them don't come out every month either. Some of them, like Sex Criminals, takes like 2 or 3 months for an issue to come out sometimes.
Yeah, some of those when you're going on your list, I thought were done.
Yeah, I didn't realize they're still going.
No, yeah, they're all still going.
What's Deadly Class up to now?
26, I think.
Nice. I love that series, man. I got the
It's great.
first 3.
It's pretty
trades.
good. That's one of my favorite. That East of West is another one I really like.
I could see that going into a movie, man, or some type of like TV series. It'd be so awesome if it's done right.
It could, man. It's pretty crazy. The Jagoda art in that is really awesome.
What's East of West up to?
He does good. 31 or 32.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's 32. I saw it today. I think it's 32.
Yeah, they've been pumping them out on schedule pretty much every month.
So, what do you guys think of Seven to Eternity versus God Country? I think I get the feeling that people are trying to see if one of those two is maybe going to be the next saga kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Seven to Eternity had looked like a 32,000 print run, so it's a little under what Saga was. So it's got a shot.
Well, and that was split between what
Four covers.
Four covers. So,
Yeah.
but is God Country's is that just a mini, or is that going to be an ongoing?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either on that.
Anybody?
That's a Linguini question, man.
Yeah. I actually read the first 2 issues today. It was pretty good. I haven't read Seven to Eternity. I'm waiting for the trade to come out.
I think I saw it last week.
The
The
trade
trade?
just came out. First
Yeah.
4 issues.
Yeah, the first, I think because it was a black. It was a 1A cover, but it was black around the edges.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it is out.
We'll have to check that out.
You'll have to read it probably twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters, but and just a lot going on. But once you pick up on it, you'll. I think it's great. I think it's a really good series.
It sounds like kind of how Monstrous is. That
Yeah.
kind of has that like Saga feel to it as well.
Yeah, how is that? I think I read like the first 3, and then I just have kind of fallen off on it. But the first 3 I liked.
Yeah, I really like it. It's the art's really good, the writing's good. You know, there's they put a lot into like the backstory. It's pretty good.
It kind of feels like you're reading a Final Fantasy comic book.
Yeah, very similar to that, or like a fantasy epic.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a geek for that kind of stuff. So
Tell me about Seven to Eternity.
I haven't read that one.
Like
I haven't
It's
either.
only 4.
I mean,
It's
it's what?
It's only 4 issues in.
Well, I mean, what's the story about? I don't know. I know.
oh, so
I
you
know.
haven't read it either, Paul.
No. Tell me about it.
So it's basically like this guy or this guy, this Mud King or whatever, can basically get inside people and kind of whisper to them and kind of give them whatever their desire. But they have to, if he gives them their desire, then he can like see through their eyes and do all this stuff and kind of take control.
Oh,
And
that
then-
sounds-
Yeah, so then this one guy and his family decided they're not going to be part of that, and they were like kind of outcasts or whatever. But now he's having to come back. I still can't. Somewhere it said what the meaning or what the point of Seven to Eternity. But I can't remember where that was.
A little bit. You refresh my memory a little bit. So they both sound like great books. That's why I was curious what you guys were putting your stock into, if either of them.
I mean, I go around LCSs. All the LCSs I go to, I haven't seen a 70 or Eternity. I found like one God Country. So from a speculation standpoint, maybe it is 7 to Eternity is gonna be better than God Country. I don't know yet, but
I find it interesting that the only company that we spec on story is Image. Everyone else we spec on happenings and
It's
covers.
the only they're the only company putting out original stories.
Well, I think the other thing is that they don't everyone else has developed characters over generations too.
I'm sure Mel would be able to throw out a bunch of indie books that have some original stories and stuff. But yeah, I agree. We seem to be gravitating towards Image when we should be
Look at
gravitating
my pull
towards
list,
Valiant.
for example.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think it's almost like a Netflix era of comic booking. Like, you know, like Image can take chances on, you know, Image can take chances on books and original storylines, you know.
Plus, their print runs are a lot smaller than the big two.
I think that's a huge point.
You know, I mean, if a storyline, say they make a story about some monster thing and it doesn't do well, I mean, yeah, it hurts them. It hurts every business when a story doesn't come through. But, you know, Marvel and DC, if you got to crank out 500,000 copies of each, I mean, you know, the first issue, that's a huge kind of thing.
I mean, I bet Image has to sell 10,000 copies to break even and start making profit.
Yeah,
I don't know. You figure some of those series, like I mean, Elephant Men has been around. I mean, they're up on like issue 70, and they don't even make the top 400. So I mean, they probably sell less than 2,000 copies of those each month, and they just keep putting it out. So I mean, if it was completely, you know, if they were just tanking money, I don't think they would keep putting issues out.
Well,
They would can it.
Well, it's a supply and demand thing too. I mean, you can always cut back on the printer too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like you have to print out 1,000, right? You know, you could say I only want 300 or 200. You know,
Some of it might be in contract somewhere for the first few issues. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
It's also creator owned, so I mean, maybe the creator chooses to stay on it.
It's possible. But I mean, like I said, you look kind of just at the Comicron numbers. I mean, Nailbiter, issue 28. I mean, 6,600 copies, but I mean, it's not many. Violent Love, 5,700 copies. I mean, they're still going. I mean, there's a lot of Image copies way below 10,000 a month.
I mean, I hate to say it, is Valiant the same way though?
I think Valiant's under that.
Yeah, you get way down on Valiant.
Well, I mean, and look at Valiant. I mean, they're technically still in business. It's not like, you know, I'm just saying.
I mean, Image has a lot of copies between like 20,000 and 10,000 print run. I don't think Valiant cracks 10,000 on anything, do they?
That'd be a Trey question.
What is there?
He is the ultimate fanboy.
Steve on the live chat said that God Country's going to be ongoing.
Ongoing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that number one only had, I think their print run was like 14,000 between two covers. So that A cover, I mean, you figure that A cover is probably down there. You know, that was about Walking Dead one, right? About 7 or 8,000, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I found the first Valiant. Where'd it go?
What else you guys got on your pull list while Scott looks that up?
I just had it here.
I used to have
Harbinger.
Used to have a pull list with 2 different shops, but I would leave it there for a couple months, and then they would harass me over the phone to come pick it up. So I just canceled everything, and now I just go in and pull whatever I see off the shelf that interests me.
Did you leave your box there?
No, I cleaned it out. I eventually that way they wouldn't lose any money on it. But right now I'm reading Monstrous, Spread, Fool Killer, which is a great miniseries so far by Marvel.
What's it about?
Fool Killer.
I haven't heard of it. I don't know.
It's funny. I went on UD one time when for issue 1 came out, and I said I liked it for half the book, and then the second half I just hated it, and it's a turd.
The latest issue is number 4, just came out 2 weeks ago, I think, and Greg Salinger is the Fool Killer, and he's analyzing Deadpool, and Deadpool's trying to get Fool Killer to join the Avengers. It's kind of funny. They have a good dynamic between the two. I think I have a couple other Image books that I pick up here and there, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
What'd you find, Scott?
All right, Harbinger Renegade was the first book I found for Valiant. Number 184 on the list, 10,177.
That's not bad. I mean, technically, 10,000. They cracked the 10,000 mark.
You think
Their next one is
10,000?
Where's the next one? Just saw it. Next one is, where the hell is it? There it is. Britannia at 8,500.
Wow.
So that's a nice little jump there.
Well, those are their event series too. That's not their main titles.
Savage 8,100. Faith 7,300.
That's all Mel V.
Yeah, at least half.
Listen, I used to like Valiant, and I don't know. I don't have anything against it, but I read kind of like the generation about 5 years ago when they relaunched kind of that first time a few of the titles, and they were fine. I just get frustrated. They stop, they start, and I don't know. I don't feel like it goes anywhere.
Well, I mean, they obviously have a solid fan base. I mean, they're probably hitting the same numbers every month, so they're.
Yeah, they have a solid pull list type customer.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about pull lists, because I don't have too many. I don't have a pull list. I just go in, and if I see things, I pick it up. If I don't.
So,
how many people?
Dino likes books with more pictures,
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I was going to ask, Dino, I know you're going somewhere with your thought, but do you go to the same shop? So do they know you, or you just go in wherever and whenever you're?
The one by me, people know me. I mean, I go in there, and you know what's funny? I don't go in every day, or I go like once a month. People know me, and then I go around the different shops. The only problem is like the other shops are like 30 minutes, 45 minutes away. So a pull list is like 45 minutes away for a pull list is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the one closest to me, the other issue is the pull list isn't effective for me, I guess, because he only orders like 5 to 10 books per issue, per book, I guess. So trying to get variants and stuff, I mean, it'd be something I had to like invest in or read in. It's like I really want to read this book, and I mean, I could do like Deadly Class, or I could do Saga or something like that, but I don't know. I mean, the real question I think for people is how many people actually do a pull list because they get discounts from the local comic book store. I know a lot of people from a comic book store perspective, like they get 20% off or 30% off if they sign up for the pull list and have.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Scott, since you got 20 different titles. I mean, what kind of percentage do they give you?
I don't get a percentage. He usually cuts me deals on variants.
You really don't get a percentage off with 20 books?
No, I get deal. I mean, that's the guy who I got the slab haul off of. So I mean, it works itself out. Like I can I sell books like commission free there.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, you have perks.
Oh yeah. There's definitely perks, and like I said, I don't mind paying full price because I mean it helps him out. He's a small shop. He doesn't get as many customers as he probably wants.
Does he have eBay?
No, he doesn't do any of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I keep telling you. Like he has mostly toys, but he gets he pretty much gets all the new stuff if you want it. Like so basically he orders everything for me. Some of them I'm the only guy getting that book, so he'll just order one for me.
Oh, well, that's different.
But I also get supplies cheap. Like I'll get bags and boards for $10 total for 100.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, and boxes are $5. So I mean, there's other perks to it.
That's fair. Well, I kind of kicked this question to the group because my brother's shop kind of was pushing for pull lists, and we've seen a lot about it. With Facebook, people not picking up their 3 months of pulls, or shops living and dying by it. And just seeing a couple shops die by me, it's either you order your inventory lean and you have good regular customers, or you order too much and you just have a glut of books building.
Yeah, it sounds like the worst thing you can do as a comic shop owner is order too much. Yeah, because then you're stuck with it.
Yeah, I mean,
you do a lot of eBay sales and go around to local conventions and stuff, then you can sell that stuff for cheap.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still losing money on it because if you bought it for $2 and you're blowing it out at $1, you still lost $1 an issue. And I've seen shops that do that around here.
Right.
You're just cutting your losses, but you still lost $1 on each of those books. The shop that I was talking about, they weren't really doing much with their pull list, but they were, they had customers, but now they're like, doing a sliding scale discount per, and he was doing something interesting of making a pull list VIP area of like discounted trades and giving them first crack at back issues and things.
Yeah, that was pretty
That's
sweet.
a good idea.
So he's kind of almost anti-speculator, but not really. He just wants you to also buy new books.
No, he's pro regular customer.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, my thought on this is the vintage market and the new market somewhat are not the same customer base all the time.
No.
The guy that's
definitely.
dropping Scott's an anomaly. Let's go there. But the guy with 20 or 30 books on his pull is already spending $150 with you a month. He's probably not going to buy, the $200 vintage books very often. Yeah, there's income brackets that can, but the average Joe is not. So I just thought it
at
interesting.
my shop.
Well, so if you were going to go in and buy to that shop that had like exclusive sections and whatnot, so would you say that $250 Golden Age book would be in one of those sections or up on the wall?
I don't know. He was more like he sounded like he was going to discount trades and items and certain things like that, and then give them first crack at these books. So maybe if he gets new backstock, it goes in that area, and then if it makes it out of there, then it goes to the wall.
Because I think if you're a shop owner, if I was that guy or you're that man or woman with that special sections or whatever, and you have a $250 book on the wall, there's probably some wiggle room on it, whether you're one of those VIPs or not. But if it falls into one of those sections and you just don't see it because you're not allowed back there, is that what you mean?
Well, I think everything has wiggle room, especially if you're spending a lot of money at a comic book shop. That's the other problem that I have. At my comic book shop, I'm not the big spender. There's guys who are dropping way more than Scott, to be honest with you, and way more than other people. People are spending $500,000 on comics each month.
There's a dude that goes in and he literally gets maybe 8 books. No, picks up about 100 to 120 books a month, I think.
Wow.
He just goes through them for like an hour, like picking out what he wants.
Is everybody okay? I heard someone just fall down a flight of stairs.
No, the thing too is like when you own a store, from what I've seen at least, I would say, and we can talk about this, is I think it's 35% probably, like subscriptions, so like 65% eBay's probably, or 65% eBay's, as a store. Well, not your store's an anomaly, but a store that has an eBay probably, like I'll give, everybody knows Big Ben's around here. They have a big sub base, but I don't think he's making that much money off subs. I think he's making enough money to keep the store open, from what I've heard.
Subs are what you kind of like. If you get a good sub base, that's paying your rent, paying your stuff.
Yeah. What is going on? What's going on? Who's playing with China?
That's my fucking dog. She is making me crazy tonight. I'll tell you what.
Sorry, man. It just sounded like the beginning of a
Jesus
snap
Christ.
It sounds like somebody's trying to play like those glasses with the water in it, and they're playing.
Yeah.
It's so funny. No, but I think eBay's a big thing. A lot of people like Big Ben. They have a big sub base that probably, like you said, pays the rent and covers the bills and pays the employees. But half his deals are probably on eBay, and the other half are him just somebody coming up, grabbing something off the wall and making a deal out of it.
I swear to God, MLV is haunting me with that dog thing. Dog never made any noise when I was on UD. Maybe it's because I didn't start. Fucking Christ. I'll be back.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Well, it's funny when you talk about that, Dino. There's a huge store in Maryland, and they got 2 stores in Annapolis, and it's Third Eye. And you walk into that store, and they just have stacks of new comics, and they don't sell. They don't even have back issue bins, but they get every variant, they got 300, 400, 500 copies of every single issue. And I don't know what they do with all of them after because they only keep them there for a while, and I guess they just take them to the warehouse or whatever. But
I think they sell on eBay.
I think they have some stuff on eBay. I know they sell their exclusives and stuff on eBay, but
don't they have a website too?
Yeah. It's as far as like current issues, I've never seen a store like that place. I think probably they probably have as much as Midtown does.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I went to one today, and I overheard this. Who knows if it's true? He sent a Craigslist ad out today. He said he was going out of business, and I walked in there, and I can tell why he was going out of business because it was so disorganized. It wasn't even funny. Everything he had, like, when everybody goes to a comic book store, they have like their wall of new subscriptions. He must have had every title known to man in the last like 5 years up on the wall, and like stacks of it. And then he had like dollar boxes of just junk everywhere. It was crazy.
What do you guys, because I found this store. I was on Facebook randomly. I don't know if the store paid for an ad, or somehow I stumbled upon it, and they were having a 20% off sale Saturday, Sunday. And it was this little store like 15 minutes from my house I'd never heard of before, and they've been open for a year. And it was a mixture of toys, games. It's basically like a GameStop Plus kind of thing. And they had comics, so I went in there and dug through them. Dino helped me out. But while I was in there, this guy came in with some stuff to sell. So I walked over so I could see the screen that the computer, that the guy was working on, and he pulled up eBay to see what he'd give this guy for his stuff. So I didn't know how much, and I got some deals on comics, so obviously he doesn't look everything up unless he just wanted to move it. But what do you guys, does eBay turn sales away for you if you see the store looking stuff up to price eBay?
If they don't have their stuff priced, I'm not even looking.
Agreed.
Well, I guess I'm in the minority on that one. Like, if I go up to somebody and I spent like an hour at their store digging through crap and they don't have a price, and then I go up to the counter and they say, "Oh, let me look," and then they threw it on eBay and they look on eBay, I walk away and say, if you don't know what it is and you're trying to get fair market value, and then I kind of use that as a ploy. I'll say I'm just gonna walk away. I'm not gonna pay eBay prices, and then I say, and then they go, well, I go, well, let's make a deal then. So I use it to my leverage.
That's good.
Well, I get that. It's just, it just depends on the book. It depends how much work you put in and what it is.
It didn't turn me off to that store. I figured that's what he was doing. I just wanted to check.
Well, if he's buying on eBay, that's okay. It just means he doesn't know what he's doing, but he isn't going to look up. If somebody brings in a long box, he's not going to look it up.
No, that store had 5.
How much was that person selling? That's the question. Did he just bring it?
Oh no, it was like one toy and something. It was like it was a mishmash of stuff.
Well,
I just didn't know how much you guys thought eBay would turn you off to a store. I guess however you want to interpret that.
I've got stores that run the gambit. I got one that closed just to do eBay, and I got one that knows eBay exists, but it just doesn't choose to deal with it. And they're like, well, we live in the Midwest, and the market isn't as strong as the rest of the country, so we're not going to price that way.
I have no problem with pricing eBay, but put the price on your stuff. Don't let me dig through your stuff.
Yeah, that's crap. Because then the guy, basically has a pile of gold that you dug for him. Shit. I know that John Brown stores used to not do that, but he would go in. Go ahead, John. You would ask for books, and then where would you find them?
Yeah, there have been a few times that I went into a shop and I would find a variant or a hot book of the week, and I'd buy one. I'd go home and check eBay, end up calling the store back, and I know they had them on the shelf. I'd call the store back and ask if they had any left, and they would tell me no, and then I would check their eBay. 5 minutes later, be posted on eBay.
You can't. I don't know.
It's not shady.
No.
It's their inventory. They can list it how they want.
They're on a rough business. They need to make money, but it's just how you do it.
Yeah.
Some stores don't even put out variants on Wednesday. They'll wait till Thursday after they see what happens. But that's dangerous too, because if it tanks,
exactly,
you're holding it.
Yeah. When they make most of their money off of gaming, like on their Friday Night Magic and the releases and whatnot, and they're dropping an extra $10 on selling a variant online rather than selling it to a customer walking in the store.
There's another shop around me that prices their variants based on Midtown. And I'm like, okay, if Midtown has it sitting on the entire online marketplace and New York City, they're priced too high. You should not price your one per store variant at $400. They just, I don't know.
How about 300?
Yeah, make a deal.
Give them a deal.
Yeah, but you really think about Midtown's pricing though. Other than those particular things, their variants are well priced. I think. I think they're
Usually, but they're a little hip. All of them are getting a little hip to the game, and
Yeah, the whole market is changing. I mean, we keep saying that, the bubble and blah, blah, blah. But the whole market is just
Trey pointed out
insane.
NCS even is pricing market right now on some of those variants.
Speaking of stores, I know Scott was saying some of his perks. For me, for my weekly pull list, I don't get a discount on my pull list. But
Really? I thought that was like common practice.
no,
so
well,
too.
I have other perks. I was going to say, if I message him tomorrow and say, hey, if you get this book on Wednesday, could I have it? And it's a 1 in 25 or 1 in 15 or variant or whatever. If he's going to get it and no one's already claimed it, he'll say sure, and I'll get it for cover.
Oh, well, that's a plus.
So
Yeah.
that's a plus. And then plus they're really nice. It's there are a small handful of shops in my area. Luckily, this is the one that's closest to me, but the other ones, I don't know. One of them I can't go to, not because I was kicked out, but just because
That's a whole other Paul's problem.
Is this a segue into Paul's problem?
no, I wish. But I won't go into it on that air, but I don't agree with the way some of the practices of this owner at least used to be when I would go in there. The other store is just too far away. So I think I just kind of lucked out with a great store that's also close.
Yeah, I think the competition is the other thing about stores and pull lists and stuff, man. I mean, like around me, like big comic book stores, at least around me, you look for a hot book that's on the website or a hot book heating up. I mean, if you call them at 9:01 and they open at 9, it's already gone. That's how competitive it is. I mean,
I gave up going out.
Yeah, it's not as bad as New York City, like Mel V probably, but it's probably pretty damn close.
Well, there's no point in
I
calling.
mean,
Either you're at the door or you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like 5 or 6 shops around me, and I tried the Wednesday Warrior thing, and I always came up empty-handed.
Well,
Yeah.
it was doable a few years ago, but
It was a few years ago.
the number of people doing it now is quadrupled.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I've grabbed a few variants, but I rarely made money on most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I order my variants through Midtown.
You got to list if you're the Wednesday Warrior. You gotta be on the East Coast and list in your car. But
Yeah, I scored one week and thought, damn, I'm gonna make some money, and I had to go somewhere for 3 hours, and the window was gone.
Yeah. Sometimes.
yeah, I got this last week. I got to have a shout out to Simple Man's Comics. I like his videos. I watched his about what to grab this past Wednesday, and got some good books. So I appreciate that.
Brian Wood, right?
Yeah. Shout out to him. I appreciate that. His montage he puts together. He mentioned us on one of his videos. He mentions that he's in conjunction with CBSI and all that stuff. So shout out to him. But Scott, I
thought he said something about don't buy what Paul buys.
pretty much. That's a given.
I mean, me and Tony talk about that. Me and Tony Levine, we talk about it all the time. If we invest in something, it's gonna fail. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty much.
The only hot variant I ever bought smartly, I gave to Trey for like 3 free presses, and that's been the one time I've won, and that was ridiculous, and I lost on that. So I can't win on those.
But you got 3 free presses, so you actually.
It was a land variant of Edge of Spider-Verse 2.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, we all had one of them.
I
remember
I joined the
razzed
group.
mine for $100, and I thought I was like hot shit.
I joined the group right after that variant came out.
Ugh.
And it was funny because everybody's unloading for like 40, 60, $80, and everybody's like, yeah, we're making a lot of money. And then later it's like,
That's what I mean. Like, I sold it for 100. I thought it was hot shit, and then it went. Would it go up to like 300 raw for a little while?
Z did Trey razz it, and you bought into the razz too?
I don't know. I don't own that one. I'm sure he got a few copies. I don't think that one ended up being a 9.8. I think that was a 9. I think we thought it was maybe a 9.6, 9.4, and I was too new to know how to grade really well. But
a 9.6. Oh, a 9.6.
listen, Trey, it was a 9.6. Trey threw it away.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Trey said a while ago, I think 9.6s, somebody's got to love them or something like that.
That's the Koi special.
Yeah, he just shreds them. He just puts them in the paper shredder and just shreds them.
And he uses them to pack books.
Yeah, it's not worth my time.
Scott, I looked up, you said you're getting you get a set as one of your perks of 100 bags and 100 boards for $10.
Yeah.
That's nice. I was looking up on Amazon my best deal for bags and boards. I do Silver Age, and I got them for my best deal on Amazon, like an add-on item, blah blah blah, was about $14.
Yeah,
so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, he hooks me up, and like I said, another thing is, like, I have his phone number, so I could text him if I want something, like, order this for me, order that for me.
I had a shop that was pretty good to me like that. It just he decided to do something else. I'm like, man, that sucked.
I mean,
and trying to build that relationship again is tough.
It is.
Yeah,
I got that relationship too, with mine. Like he you know what's funny? He's like, I should take more advantage of it. He's like, he always tells me, dude, he's like, Dino, just order whatever you want and I'll order for you, dude. He goes, and I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't.
I did. I ordered 1,000 of that Walking Dead, the one that was a quarter, the 163.
Yeah.
And he gave them to me for undercover.
How much kindling do you have for your bonfires now?
I got 5 full cases. If anybody needs any.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with those?
I'm selling them in 10 book lots on eBay.
For how much?
$250 and then shipping.
So you're going to get cover price for them?
I'm going to grind it out. Yeah.
Are you going to bring some at IndieCon and we can give them away for good PR for the company?
I'm going to have these things forever.
Dude, we don't have table space for that at IndieCon.
Well, we'll put it behind the stuff or under the tables. Just to
we'll give them the kids.
Yeah, give them the kids.
John Brown, we can't hear you, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Being muffled.
I'm telling you, only Ben C understands what he's saying right now.
We're going to start a GoFundMe for John Brown's microphone.
I'm going to post it on the Google Plus page.
I do want. I would love to know what the print run, when the print run numbers come out for next in 2 weeks, what it's going to be for that Walking Dead 163.
Oh, it's going to be a lot, man.
They already ordered. Like
I'm thinking 750.
That's what I was thinking. 750.
Well, it's a 25-cent issue. I mean, they lost money on that, and it is what it is. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they broke. Who knows?
I don't know. A quarter an issue.
They were probably trying to get people into the story. People that have kind of dropped off.
Yeah. So what wholesale would be? What, 12.5 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that wasn't like the one. Was it 127? That was the start of where the next trade was gonna end or begin or something. It had nothing to do with that, did it? Just a new story arc.
Yeah. It was the beginning, it was the beginning of a new arc.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they figure they can get 10% of their audience if they lost back, it's a win.
That's true.
Are any of you guys up to date on Walking Dead?
No.
Except for tonight's.
I'm 163 issues back.
Oh, I thought you meant the show. I haven't read the comic since issue 127.
Oh, okay.
I've been eyeing trying to find like a compendium or some hardcovers for it.
I remember one time, I think it was Google Play had it for $5, 1 and 2.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, and yeah, I like digital comics. I used to think, when Kindle came out, that I'd never touch it. I'd never, just make me. I can't. I have to, hold the physical book. I like, as it gets thin on one, as it gets thin in one hand and thick in the other. but
Oh my God! So many things that you could say there.
Yeah.
Anywho, as the book progressed, I just holding a physical book versus holding a single slab tablet that would go page by page. I just didn't think I could ever do it. But I've read a couple books on a tablet, and it's the same with comic books. Some of our weekly reads, I've been reading on a tablet versus going out and buying the physical trade or seeing if I have it in my collection, and it's not that bad.
Z.
Man,
No
who's-
big.
Rubbing the mic.
Somebody's pacemaker.
Yeah, somebody's. It's getting thick in somebody's hands.
Hey, the dog is asleep. It's not me now.
No, it's John Brown. John Brown's gonna leave because he can't. He's gonna get a mic this week. So, the other thing too is Z. I can hook you up offline with all the digitals if you need to. Yeah.
I know. I've kind of got obsessed with the idea of getting a couple of I'm not collecting graphic novels and trades. Like I'll buy those and resell them to read them. I can get them $5, sell them $5 at a con. But I'm kind of getting in the idea of buying some of the omnibuses or hardcovers or some of the nicer editions of the collected editions.
Yeah,
some
no,
of them are
that's
worth,
cool. Yeah.
worth good money.
I don't own any of the omnibuses, but are they more difficult to physically, like when you're turning the pages, to actually see down towards the binding? Because it seems like it would be.
No, honestly, I haven't had any trouble. I went cheap. I really meant to buy it. The only real true big one I've bought, the compendium, was Invincible, and I cheaped out because I found the paperback version dirt cheap for $50 for volume 1 and 2. And I think I even almost bribed Regan to take the hardcover I saw at Skybound. They have an SDCC hardcover version of 1 and 2, and if 3 comes out, I may just buy them all. But I cheaped out on it. But no, it wasn't bad, and it didn't really. You see spine stress on it, but it didn't fall apart or anything.
I don't know. I was thinking the last really big one that I had. It felt like when I got toward the middle of the book, when I was trying to actually read it, where the pages all came together. Like if there were some words that were towards the right, if you're looking at the left side page, the words that were on the right side, they almost got hidden down. Like I had to pull the book apart to even see what I was reading.
I will say, if you get a compendium or an omnibus or something, you're reading it, you get a little bit of a workout. You're holding about a 80-pound book.
If you buy a compendium and think it's going to stay mint, if you're going to read it, it's not going to happen because you're going to get.
I think I enjoyed the experience of not having to stop and I could just read. Even a trade, you have to stop when the trade stops, and you usually don't have 4 or 5 of them in a row.
Yeah, I like. I have the IDW Turtles Ultimate Collection, and I like that those are actually divided up. They're all there by groups of issues, but they're divided up, so they'll end at an issue, and then they'll have some letters from Eastman or Laird, and then they'll show the cover for the next comic.
Yeah, most of them do that.
I do they because when I haven't read one since Walking Dead's compendium, and they didn't do that. That was a plus for me.
Invincible did, and I don't know. I the next one I'm eyeing is either some kind of Walking Dead collected or Sandman.
I want to ask.
I looked for Sandman today. I picked up Mouse, but I was looking for Sandman. They had a bunch of Sandmans, but not the one I wanted.
I actually am reading that too, and I bought both of them beat to hell copies at $3 a pop at half price books. I'm like,
oh, god damn it! I paid $18 for mine, but they were in pretty good condition, so I can't.
Well, that's my thing. Is if I can buy it for under $5, I can read it and resell it, and unless it's something I want my kids to read per se.
Yeah. Did you get the case
for hardcover? No, mine was just soft cover ones.
Oh, mine! I got the case with mine.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
But that's me. If I buy something hardcover, I'm probably keeping it. If I buy it soft cover, I'm probably not.
Well, it was soft cover, but it came with its own case holder. So I had never seen that. So
gotcha.
Well, since we're talking about trades, let's talk about what we all read this week. The greatest trade paperback ever, Death of Superman.
All right, so
sold so many copies, it's amazing.
Yep.
Well, first I gotta ask. I was tried to watch on YouTube the Death of Superman Returns at work, so obviously I didn't get very far. But
you mean the
is it the Nick Cage one?
Yeah, but in the beginning there were parts of it. It is the Nick Cage one, but they were talking about
Smith?
Yes.
Oh, I love that documentary. I love that.
I need to watch it.
I
need to watch it start to finish. But in the beginning, they were talking about, or part of it, they were saying, they were talking about that comic, Death of Superman, and how the reason they killed Superman is just because they wanted something to just give some life back to the series. I mean, sales were down and blah blah blah. But I don't know if it would have held up today.
Well, let's talk about.
It would have been. They would have done it better today.
Well, I guess let's talk about what happened Was anybody actively in comics during that era, like when the issues came out? Because I was.
I actually have my trade paperback from that I bought off the shelf.
Let's kind of I guess we're going to review this, but let's talk about what's happening in the environment at that time.
I was in it. I mean, I don't think I think that's what started comics as an investment. That and Valiant at the time. Valiant was, I can't remember if that was before or after Death of Superman. I think a little before, because I remember paying too much for a couple of Valiant books. And you know, ASM 300 was a few years ahead, and that was kind of one picking up steam, and Gambit's first. And those are some of those books that I spent $20 or $30 of my hard-earned money on. But I remember Death of Superman, and you're like, whoa, what?
It was huge. I remember it being huge. I remember non-comic people buying the comic.
Everybody bought that.
I didn't go crazy, but my brother and myself, and my dad he wasn't really into comics, but he'll buy some things here and there, and he read them or looked at them. And I remember all of us bought 3 copies of the bagged version each, and all of us bought 2 copies of the unbagged, and we read it, and you know. And
I still have my bag version that I had as a kid.
I think I still have one. I've bought some. I've sold some. I don't have any real attachment to it. I just think I still have one.
I see them on Craigslist all the time. It's like the number one.
They sell for like $15 on eBay.
Do they? Because
yeah,
I see them all day.
At a show, you can get 10 or 15 on a good day.
If it's still bagged, $15.
I'll keep in mind that because I see that all the time on Craigslist. That's like the number. Honestly, boys, that's the number one book I probably see on Craigslist.
Well, the issue is everybody's selling it once $15 or $20.
Yeah.
If Jimmy can get me a Christopher Reeve signature, I'll buy one.
Ouch.
Well, I remember back then, one of my dad's friends who wasn't even in the comics was at a charity auction, and he spent like $300 or $400 on one of those polybagged, like autographed by the creators, I think. And I remember like thinking, I was like, damn, that's crazy that somebody not even in the comics would spend that much.
There's some crazy editions of that book out there. I mean, there's the standard, there's the platinum, and then I was talking to Trey the other day because I saw one online. Was there's a boxed version. It came in a wooden like box, like looked like a cigar box, but laid out and had a comic in it.
Oh yeah.
And so a stash box.
Sort of. But you know, like anything else that you would get in a box, it had its own little place and tray, and it was autographed by a couple of the big creators. I had Jurgens, is that his Jurgens or Jurgensen, whatever, and Schuster.
Dan Jurgens.
Dan Jurgens. Was it Schuster or
Simonson?
Siegels that still was alive. Which of the original Superman, whichever one of the two was still alive at that point, had signed him. And it was limited to like 500. And then I did some research just because we'd seen it. It was kind of cool. There's like a 5,000 limited edition at 2,500. I mean, they rocked that.
5,000. That's rare.
5,000 on that book is actually pretty rare. I mean,
it's funny though in terms of like what's rare now.
Well, but I mean, it's still. I mean, I don't think there was actually a 500. I think we got a 5,000, a 2,500. I don't remember if there's a more rare. And the platinum probably is 5,000 too on its own. There's not a ton of those.
No.
But you think of if our generation looks at a comic they kind of want to own a special edition of, that's not many.
Yeah, I would lump that in with the like the platinum edition Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, I think we save that for a different show because those are interesting too.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
All right, so let's get back to the story of the death of Superman.
So I'll go first real quick. I started reading it. I mean, reading every panel, and then I think it was maybe Friday night or something, and I ended up just looking at the pictures. And
so you and Dino can talk story.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was hard to put myself back in that time, and it was just, I don't know.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
What's that?
The JLA lineup.
Oh,
yeah, let's talk about that because
that's first the worst lineup in history.
I gotta get.
When Guy Gardner is your powerhouse, like Guy Gardner, they said is their rock, and you're like, oh my god, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Two of Trey's favorite guys, Booster Gold and Guy Gardner.
Was Booster wasn't even there, was he?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, Booster was there. Blue Beetle got his ass kicked right away, and so did Booster.
I didn't even know who Ice was.
No, she doesn't. What, Fire and Ice? Was there Fire and Ice or just an Ice?
I think it was just
Inferno.
Hey, I thought we were talking about Death of Superman, not Will Ferrell movies.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
I thought that was like
We
in the.
did Devo with his almost bought a spandex from that.
I thought Fire and Ice was in the prophylactic department.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a weak lineup, and they had Maxima, who I remember somebody spec'd on that a few years ago, like a character that was, super strong and stuff, but she was a terribly written character. And
I don't know. I like Maxima in the Death of Superman. I mean, I read the thing back to front or front to back, but
it was like a Gladiator version. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm the one that challenged you guys to read it because we kind of talked about one that did stand up, and I'm like, this one does not.
No.
I don't know. I like the story. I mean, I got wrapped into the story. We'll talk about the art and the penciling and the lettering later, but
that was dated. The wording was dated. I don't know. I think the JLA honestly probably ruined it. I mean, if you were looking at Wonder Woman and Batman, and those people couldn't conquer Doomsday, then I would feel like a sense of urgency. But these guys aren't even like Justice Society of Wisconsin. I was going to say Minnesota, but I didn't want to hurt Tony's feelings.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty badass. Yeah, I mean, like you said, if Wonder Woman and Batman and all those guys were in there, it probably would have been better.
Been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been awesome. But honestly, okay, so if you had Superman and Wonder Woman on the team at the same time, I don't know. I mean, does people think that Doomsday really couldn't beat up Superman and Wonder Woman at the same time? It's like, I don't know. It's like that's like too powerful. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to nerf them.
What about the movie though?
It would have been different.
Exactly what happened.
I mean, you would have Green Lantern. You had a Green Lantern, but I mean, I don't know. It just was like.
But he wasn't really a Green Lantern. He didn't have a power ring.
Was he in his other version? Right? He was.
Yeah.
Guy Gardner, Guardian bullshit, or Warrior.
In the trade on page 38, there's an entire truck that gets destroyed called Kahlua Beer, and that was almost as sad as Superman dying.
That is. I don't know. I liked it though. I mean, I guess I liked it just because I like the story because it. I don't know if it's a sense of urgency, but I mean, Doomsday just messing up everything was just awesome.
Doomsday's badass.
Yeah, I mean.
I think the difference is you said you weren't reading comics at that time, right?
No. Yeah, I wasn't reading comics at that time.
So in my heart, I probably read it the first time. I was like, oh my God, Superman's going to die. We know Superman's going to die. And this is like the most important thing ever. And then looking at it 25 years,
it was going to happen.
20 years later, it just is like disappointing.
Well, I think it's better. I think it's better than the movie.
Well, yeah, but the movie was just like half-assed based on the idea. And listen, the Doomsday creation, not knowing where he came from and him just being pure evil and wreckage, that was pretty solid.
Yeah. So I'm reading it, and my Superman history is fuzzy. So I'm thinking, where the hell? Yeah, that's my question. Where the hell did he come from?
They go into that in some other series.
See, I actually think that like when I was reading it again, like I was like, this is stupid. This is just some random. I mean, something that could kill Superman that has never been done before. And they're just going to create this thing with no backstory. And in 6 issues, Superman's dead and Doomsday's dead. So it's
but that adds to the mystique, I think, though.
Did anybody else get the vibe that it was a bit of a Hulk riff, though? I mean, he was wearing a green costume. He was powered by anger.
I didn't think of Hulk.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah, I didn't think of Hulk either. I don't know. I just thought, honestly, I don't know. Maybe because I had Walking Dead on mine, I kind of thought it was like Negan-esque. Like he didn't care. He just destroyed and didn't matter.
I don't know. Like Doomsday coming out was cool, but there've been so few great Doomsday stories. I'm meaning to read Hunter Prey, which my Mike Z told me is worth a read because they kind of go into his origin a bit. But they ruined him in the New 52, and they just done some poor things with him. Kind of like Bane. They had a great character and they do dumb things.
You know what I did Doomsday right at? Is Injustice video game. Just saying.
Hey, did you guys notice like the I don't know, it was like maybe I'm reading into it, but it felt like an inside like a little like a little inside joke. The panel right before Superman dies, there's a little girl and she's wearing a Bugs Bunny shirt. You know, like That's All Folks.
No, let me look at it.
That.
Well, one part that I'll look for right now, that panel, Ben. But one part that caught me off guard, just because I hadn't read it in so long and I didn't know the backstory, is when Doomsday punches Supergirl and her face is all warped before they show her. I was like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
what was that?
But that wasn't a real Supergirl. I don't even remember the story.
I was like, is this some slow-mo thing? Like, what's up with her face?
Yeah,
And
I guess that's
got me-
another thing too. A good thing you brought that up because I was reading it and I'm like, why is Lex Luthor and Supergirl together? It's like,
That's Lex Luthor Jr. though. That's actually
well, I
That's
know.
Alex.
that's actually technically the Lex from the movie, but not really because they've retconned him so many times.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was weird. Like, why are they together? It made no sense. And he's like,
And then he's like, no, you
manipulating her.
can't go, babe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll just stay.
yeah. It's like, yeah, I need to get dinner made. Like, what's going on here? It's like,
Clean the bathroom first and do
Yeah.
some laundry.
Jesus. I know. He's like, I know my businesses are going downhill, but I have so much money, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'll just get a tax write-off. It's like,
Well, I don't even remember the whole story of why she wasn't really Supergirl or she was. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. She was some weird alien.
No.
I see the Bugs Bunny thing. Yeah, that was right before the 2-page spread of Lois holding Superman.
Yeah, I don't know if they did. I'm assuming that they did that on purpose, but it just like it popped into my head like, oh, that that's all, or
They even like curled the smoke so you could see Bugs Bunny's entire face.
Yeah, I just thought it was done on purpose, but
Well, it feels like you could have made that a one-issue comic almost. Let's show Doomsday, show him beating ass, and show Superman dead. It just felt like there was a lot of filler. They just didn't do a good job.
The dialogue was pretty terrible too.
well,
I think that's 90s. I think if we read something else, we'd be just.
You are right.
well,
I haven't read Nightfall in a long time, and I'm afraid to.
Well, I guess the wording, but what about the font? Okay, so I'm the guy who read it on and so did Paul, like on an iPad or Comic Rack or whatever you want to use. It was hard to read the font on a digital comic from that era, I guess.
Hard. It's pretty hard in paper too. It's very crowded.
Yeah, I didn't like. I had to reread bubbles or reread words. I'm like, I don't know what that kind of says. It's like italicized and weird. I mean, I don't know if that's all 90s comic books were like that, but in the later, I guess, issues, it got better. But the beginning issues was like, it was tough. So that was my big concern or big problem with it.
We should get Kozan to come show up and talk to us about lettering. He'd give us some knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you compared it to the Hulk, but I kind of saw a correlation between Doomsday and Bane, only in the sense that like Superman couldn't hurt Doomsday until he started breaking his bones off, and Batman couldn't start hurting Bane until he started playing with his face mask.
Well, no, technically, you didn't get that the first time you read it, but after reading Bane more, he developed the bones as he got hit because he adapts.
Oh, okay.
So if you notice his costume, he didn't have any of that. Even the first time he punched the wall,
Actually, yeah, I was thinking about that when he had the costume. I'm like,
he evolves. And they don't do a good job talking about it, but we don't know where it came from. But when I read it this time, I thought it's an impression of Hulk. He's green, he's unstoppable. All he is anger. There's nothing there. They just didn't have the
mindless.
rights.
He just grunts the whole time.
Well, that's the other
Didn't have the rights
thing.
to Hulk.
I think if they gave him some type of dialogue besides the grunting all the time, I think it would have helped.
He did say Metropolis once.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I never got the vibe before until then, and I just thought it was too much of a coincidence for him being a big Hulk and green brute.
It's funny that you say that. Like I didn't notice that before, but now it makes kind of sense.
I don't even know if they knew it was intentional. I just think it snuck in there.
was Hawk selling well at the time?
No, but Hulk and Superman have always kind of been a debate, and I think there actually have been some crossover somewhere. I don't know. I know Spider-Man has. I imagine Hulk and him have fought in, at least in like that Marvel crossover, which maybe was after that.
I'm not at all enticed or excited by this whole Batch H thing. Speaking of Hulk.
Oh, that is a good question. I don't. You got to wonder, is that, the Hulk's dead, Wolverine's dead? We're going to talk about it with that.
I don't know. Even the picture just doesn't even. I mean, it's just like mashing up just two things that just don't
Can you
do
believe Marvel's doing another relaunch?
it. Oh,
Yeah, Steve.
terrible.
Steve on YouTube was talking about that. He goes, I called it relaunch fatigue. I guess. I mean,
yeah. So
when
what
to
was there
relaunch
was
over and over.
what are they calling this one? And what were the other two? There was Rebirth, and
Who
then
knows?
Well, listen, I will give DC credit because they did 52 issues of the New 52, and nobody thought that was it. I thought about it, about 4 years in, going, we're 4 years in, it's getting a little stale. They're leading to some other stuff, and they did 52 issues, 50 titles. They stuck to a fucking plan. Was it a good plan, a bad plan? They didn't, they didn't just throw 6 months up and say we're going to restart.
Yeah.
Or
Well, I think
Marvel,
Marvel's
you
just
can't
doing
even-
it as a cash grab.
Marvel can't even get fucking 12 months of issues out.
So when you say they're doing a relaunch, they're doing a complete like.
A
mean,
lot
'cause they've
of
been
whole
doing-
new number ones.
I mean, because they've kind of been doing that already. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
They've been
gosh.
doing it every 8 to 10 months.
Yeah. So
12
I mean,
months.
are they relaunching everything, or are they just
I'm not. I don't know, to be honest. I know they are doing a lot of new number ones. More hip hop variants, all that stuff.
how many of those are they up to now?
They're probably at close to 100.
don't know, don't care. Oh shoot! What about Legion,
All right.
guys? Unless any other thoughts on Death of Superman, I guess. I mean, just
No, I just think it's interesting to look at nostalgia. And that's why I proposed us doing this once in a while.
yeah.
Because some of those stories are going to stick out and go, man, they're timeless. And other words, they're going to be like, holy
Yeah, I
shit,
mean,
they
honestly,
were
some of
terrible.
them were incredible for that time, and then that's it.
I remember
Yeah.
Nightfall. I mean, I haven't reread Nightfall. I remember reading it as a kid because that was right after this, within a year. I read an actual novel based on it. I remember just reading the shit out of this storyline. I think it was great, and I'm afraid to go back to it.
I'm exactly in that exact same spot. I've got those issues sitting right here, and I've flipped past them several times, just flipping through my old Batman books, and I'm like, man, I'd love to read that again. And
I sold my original copy and bought some copies in a lot randomly, and I keep looking. I'm like, I should read them, and I'm like, no, I bagged them up, and I'm going to sell them again because I just don't think it's a good idea.
Well, speaking of all rereading stuff, I guess we'll say that. I guess, are we going to start doing a poll?
Yeah, I was thinking we had that list.
We could do just suggest some other things that people want to revisit. That would be cool.
Either suggest it or choose from our list. Choose 5, throw it up on a poll, see who wins.
Why don't we just put 4 up and other, and if somebody comes up with something awesome, let's read that.
Yeah. How are we going to do the big ones though? Like, where's our list? I don't know where it is. Anyway, there was one that was.
Are you talking about if we did Sandman 70 at 75 issues?
No, we're not going to do Sandman. That's not. We can't talk about that and do that justice. I'm talking like something that's a traderless.
Yeah, something easy to read, not like Cerebus or like a big
Dead
trade.
series.
Yeah,
All by next week.
yeah.
No, but I think there's some fun. I really want to read Crisis because JB mentioned that one. I don't even know if I read that the first time. I think I was out. I was too young.
Well, same thing.
I never read it.
I tried to get Marvel's Ultimate. Is it Marvel's Ultimate today? Or the Ultimate, I guess. Marvel's. I tried to get that. They only had volume 2, not volume 1. But I tried to grab that today. I tried to grab a couple other things, but I just ended up with Mouse, which is depressing.
Yeah, we have some long ones in our list: Bones, Sandman, Why the Last Man. I guess if we dared to tackle any of those,
I don't think
we'd have to do
those.
we'd have to do like one trade.
Events, guys. Let's stick to events. There's 45 or 50 summer event type things between Marvel and DC. Easy.
Yeah. We'll throw up a poll.
Like I read Infinity
We'll put
Gauntlet,
other
and it was medium.
That's hard to read.
My son wanted to read it because his Mike got it for him for his birthday a while back, and I didn't let him read it because I'm like, dude, these books are worth $100. I would rather you just keep them. And I'm like, all right, I'll get you the trade to read. And I reread it, and he read it, and it's like, oh, he couldn't make sense of it all. He doesn't have enough knowledge and background, and it's confusing.
It's hard to read too. It's a very slow read.
I think that's the cosmic universe in general.
I imagine at the Z household, there's like a book report due and like a test. And
No, really.
It reminds me of what was the show with Charlie Sheen?
Two and a half
men. I remember in one episode he made his son go read a book and write a book report.
Dude, only one kid even sort of likes comics. The other two, the 4-year-old likes Hulk, but whatever. And the middle kid, like, I don't know, he'll read one once in a while, but I think he's just humoring me.
How do you censor what they read? Age wise.
I don't know. I'm not great at that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just handed my 9-year-old Ghost Rider the second volume, trades 1 and 2, which is probably not a good decision.
I thought you were gonna like Vampirella or
sex
something.
criminals.
Sex criminals.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to give them the love of comics at bare minimum. The oldest one,
whatever
really
they'll read, right?
Yeah, he really liked G.I. Joe Volume 1, but he's bought some other ones and he hates the newer stories. And
my uncle actually taught himself how to read by reading the Sunday comics. I mean,
the Sunday comics is a lost art in general.
Oh, this is my uncle, so way back when.
I mean, that's cool though. I mean, it's like even Z's kids or even kids in general, like reading, like, there's always statistic out there that people read 10 minutes a day through internet articles. And like, yeah, you could crank down like a lot of stuff on the internet in 10 minutes. But I mean, just going back to reading in general, like an actual, even if it's digital or actually a paperback, I mean, that's encouraging,
Yeah, my oldest, I guess it's also my kids are a little young. So once, I got a 9, a 7, and a 4. The 9-year-old, though, has just started reading everything. So if he reads some comics, great. If he reads Harry Potter, whatever else he reads, great. The 7-year-old just hasn't quite hit that ledge of where he's reading much. So he'll read a comic now and again just to read it.
Yeah, I didn't read a lot when I was in my early years either. Like I was more of a math guy, but I've started getting back into reading, It's just the problem with reading for me is like just anything in general. We talked about this, is just getting something that's that I like and I want to stick with. It's hard to put 4 hours into something that's just dreadful,
4 hours.
And
no, I'm just saying, like if it's a big book or something, like a novel, like a real novel.
The comics written for kids are a little tough to read too. So like I'll do some bedtime stories and I try to pick up like some of the Marvel Kids Universe stuff wherever I see it. I don't want to really pay $4 a pop for the new one, so I'll find some of the old stuff in half-price books. But it's not very well written, so it's a little disengaging just to try and read it over. So I kind of find myself reading the picture, so to speak.
I will say my daughter likes that DC superhero girls thing, and and I think I picked up every one of the, and they're like mini trades. They didn't have like regular issues or anything like that, but she likes them. She reads the whole thing. So.
Yeah, Tony's little girl does the same thing. That's what we got her for me and Scott got her as a gift, like superhero girl stuff. That's a big thing, man. I seen a lot of girls on Target. They're like,
coming out with Legos.
I wouldn't think that's a terrible investment of buying some of those early issues. And even look at like Teen Titans Go, the first issue sells for some money, and it really isn't even related. It's just the first time the title was used.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a free comic book day 9/8 on eBay recently. I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I don't know where it went. I would have bought it, but it had that gigantic free comic book day white box on it that just killed the cover for me.
Yeah, it was for the DC superhero girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's got that one.
But no, they're coming out with Legos and stuff for that. I mean, they have dolls. I bought my daughter has all 3.
I think it would have caught on quicker if they hadn't done just a bunch of like 3-minute episodes or 2-minute episodes.
That's what kids now. I hate to say that, boys, is that's what kids not want nowadays. Is like
attention spans are nothing.
Yep. They'll watch Minecraft videos for an hour and a half, but if they had to sit down and watch TV, it's like it's a struggle.
Well, all right, yeah, that's a whole different topic. My kids watch on demand all the time. We rarely watch live TV. Even recording is rare. Like if a movie's on or something, we'll record it and they'll watch it and they've got to watch commercials. Not that they don't get commercials at the beginning and the end, but they don't understand the concept of you can't pick what you want to watch all the time.
I don't want to segue this or into a different topic, but I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he had Action Bronson on, who's like a famous rapper, and he was talking about how YouTube has made like putting things on YouTube is just the ultimate thing nowadays, because getting up, going to your TV screen, selecting your DVR, it's a process. Yeah, it's not a huge process, but it's a process in general, and just the instant accessibility that kids get nowadays. It just
Listen, my 9-year-old just had a sleepover, and the one kid was making his own videos, putting them on a private YouTube channel that his friends watch. And I'm like, what? And actually, surprisingly, weren't just like my kids shoot a video and it's like I see 2 minutes of feet and somebody talking. He was doing slow motion, capture and edits and things. And I'm like, this kid's 9.
We're going to be the last generation that remembers what it was like to not have cell phones.
Yeah, no shit.
Speaking, I guess we can talk about this. So speaking of kids, let's congratulate our boy Will on his new baby boy, right?
Congrats.
Yeah, Liam Logan. Congratulations, Will.
No, that's bullshit. Really, it's like fucking Optimus.
That's going to be his nickname for him. Dad, why do you call me Optimus? Doesn't make sense.
He just told his wife he named it that, and on the certificate it really says fucking Optimus, and on his 18th birthday he'll find out or some shit.
Optimus Bumblebee or some shit like that would be awesome.
My coworker was messing about that, saying that when her husband's asleep, she'll just go out there and name the kid whatever she wants on the birth certificate.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it happen. I've heard of stories happening like where the wife's done and the husband does it, or the wife does it, and it's just like, we discussed this for months. I changed my mind.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's hard to change it once it's on that paper, man.
Yeah. Let's okay, so we talked about Death of Superman. Do we want to save Legion for next time, or do we want to talk about Golden Age stuff, or because I mean we're rocking around the 2.5 hour mark right now, I think.
Oh God, are we?
No, it doesn't matter. No, we're hour and a half.
Oh, it's an hour and a half. Okay, an hour and a half. So I mean,
I was gonna say, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I just I mean Legion. I guess we could talk about Legion and Golden Age. I guess
you talk a little Legion. I'm gonna go get another drink because I don't know. I watched the first half and I couldn't get into it. I still have it.
Before you get your drink, the first half's the hardest part to watch. I thought the same thing and bailing out.
First episode.
Yeah,
I DVR'd. I'll probably go back, but I like to watch shows Netflix style too.
Yeah, Ben.
You can get on the FX Now app.
I will, and I'm just waiting for enough material. When something starts slow, you just have to I can't watch it 3 weeks in a row and just go, "Oh, this is terrible."
I think they disappear after a while on the FX app.
I've recorded them. I'll catch up, but I'm gonna let you guys talk what you have.
Yeah,
give myself
I don't know.
A drink to ramble on whatever.
The first episode was a hard
I was just gonna. Oh, let me ask you real quick, Paul, because you've watched what, 2 of them?
I watched all 3.
Now, did you know anything? Do you know anything about the character?
Okay. So I don't know. The only time I've ever read anything about Legion is in the Ultimate X-Men. No, the Ultimate X-Men series. I think they had him in there for like a short arc. So all I know is that he's Charles Xavier's kid, and that's all I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here.
I didn't know anything about it. I never read X-Men, so I didn't know anything about Legion at all.
The first, I mean, it's all I knew. I mean, it didn't really make any difference to me. I guess the only thing it does for me is wondering if they'll ever mention it or mention that his mom's name is like Moira or whatever. But I don't know. The first episode was just so crazy trippy. I mean, I've been drinking a little bit, so I was literally sitting there just like waiting. I was waiting for it to end. I mean, my daughter was already in bed. My wife was working a night shift, and I'm just like, oh gosh, is this over yet?
Christopher Nolan feel to it.
Yeah, I think I would even go as far as Mr. You guys watch Mr. Robot?
Yeah.
I think it's got that Mr. Robot feel, Scott. I think it does.
It definitely does. Yeah. You don't know if he's really doing that or if he's inside his own head.
Yeah, it jumps around a lot too.
It does. Yeah. Like dreams within a dreams. It's got a little inception to it.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too is like, it's not one of those shows that you just come home and you just turn on after a long day of work and be like, I'm gonna watch this and just veg out.
It's not King of Queens.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, that dude with the double chin and the yellow eyes, he's fucking freaky.
He is.
He is
I mean,
freaky.
you gotta
And
sit down and like sit there and watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like sit down and actually watch and comprehend.
about the guy with the big head from the book.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
That's gotta be a
that's
Halloween
creepy.
costume, I guarantee it. And a con costume. It's gotta be.
That dude freaks me out, especially when he has like his little Hitler stash on.
I was gonna mention to Z. He was talking about reading to his kids. I was gonna mention that book's name.
I'm back. What are we talking about?
In Legion, there's this real. Go ahead, Z, or go ahead, Dino. Sorry.
Okay, so in Legion they have a book, like a child's book, and his dad reads it to him in one of the flashbacks, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. And it was what's it called, Paul? Is it My Angry Child or The Angry Child or
The
Angriest Child?
Angriest boy.
Yeah. So you could read that to your kids if you want. It's really good.
He ends up like chopping the mom's head off, right?
Here it is. It's called The World's Angriest Boy in the World, and it's a real
Great.
book.
It is.
I guess so. Yeah. Shit.
Gosh.
Awesome.
Maybe
Chops
maybe
his
the
mom's head.
contents are different, but I guess the title's the same. I want to look for it. Shit. But
I don't know. I'll give it another shot. I mean, Luke Cage took me forever to get through.
I liked Luke Cage.
I like
I
Luke
like
Cage too.
Luke Cage too.
I didn't dislike it. It wasn't great. Like Daredevil, like my wife and I were hooked. We watched 3 or 4 episodes a night and knocked it out.
Yeah.
Alias, it took us a while because it was just a little too adult to watch more than maybe 2 episodes at a time.
I think Alias had a better storyline than Daredevil.
I think it was a great storyline. It just was less.
Yeah.
You couldn't, like, if you sat and watched that for a whole day, you'd be so depressed and want to slit your wrist.
Yeah.
It is a little dark.
I mean, I'm really hoping Iron Fist is good. I'm getting stoked for Iron Fist. I really am.
I agree. I think Iron Fist is going to be. I hope there's a little bit more fun to it. Like Daredevil had a little more fun.
Yeah.
This is
You
not a picture book. I don't know. The angriest boy in the world. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. That was the title of the book in the show.
Daredevil had a little
Legion,
fun with
sorry.
some of the side characters and just the idea, but
I liked
Iron Fist
all.
could be fun.
I liked all the Netflix exclusives.
Yeah, they
did
were all
not-
good. Well
I
done.
couldn't get through Arrow. I said that before.
Arrow's tough. After season 3, I couldn't do it anymore.
Which
Yeah, I
one?
think
Arrow.
I've stuck with it. I like it. I don't know. It has ups and downs, and it jumps the shark a lot. But I watch too much CW anyways. I still watch freaking Supernatural. So
I started. I guess we started watching the 100, so I watched that on CW. But
I think the Flash does the most right most of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flash is good.
I jumped
It's
off.
the only one my wife watches.
I jumped off the bandwagon of Gotham. I couldn't do it.
Once they
Season
brought
2
Fish
first.
Mooney back, I was out.
Yeah, she's
I was
first
happy when
episode.
I was happy when they killed her off and then they brought her back. I was like, what the hell are you people doing?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I gave that 2.5, 3 seasons. I don't know. I hear good things and bad. I just don't love it enough to devote the time.
No. Well, you know what? They do like 23 episodes. It's like you can't have that much material.
I still can't figure out how the police station is like from something from like the 1940s, but they're all talking on cell phones. So I can't figure out what time frame we're in.
No, I don't know. Legends Tomorrow. The first season was terrible. The second season got okay, and then my DVR kicked because they moved nights, and I haven't decided if I need to like go back and catch those or not. I've heard good reviews.
I couldn't get into it. I watched one
Never
episode
watched
and
it.
it was like,
I've heard. I watched season 1. It was terrible. But everything I've heard about season 2 is kind of catching some of its groove. It went away from some of the stuff.
it's the same thing with Agents of Shield. Like I watched the first season and then it fell off.
Really?
I watched that out of like just I'm this far in. I hate to let it go.
Man, I love that one's like of like the comic shows.
Mhm.
I think I like Shield probably as good as any of them.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. You think there's too many shows out right now? Too many comic-related shows?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Probably.
I do
Did
too.
you guys see that Black Bolt's now CW?
No.
What's that?
Come on, guys. We're a spec site. We know Black Bolt or no.
You mean Black Lightning?
Okay, yeah. I thought you meant
Oh.
something that's already
Sorry.
out. I'm like,
I was thinking, man, Humans is going to CW.
Four Roses is kicking in.
Straight to CW.
Oh,
Seabiscuit's cousin.
Black Lightning was Fox for a long time, and then they let it go.
Yeah,
Do you guys
Phil
remember on
So they
Fox?
just cast it.
Anybody remember on Fox the old show called John Doe?
No.
No, Matt would know. I'll bring it up another day.
Yeah, Phil Chung actually was talking about that on YouTube chat about Black Lightning on CW.
Is he on YouTube chat?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, shout out to Phil.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You may as well go there if you're going to be a freaking. If you're going to be a DC show, you may as well be there. Even if you don't want to cross over, you have the option.
Well, yeah, like Supergirl and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's Supergirl's trash. I gave up on that this season. Season 1 I enjoyed. I couldn't watch it. My wife and I kept like forcing ourselves to, and I'm like, I can't give an hour of my life to this. No, they just like, I don't know, between the CW and the was it?
It gets a little hokey.
CBS?
Some of the
Yeah, CBS.
I just feel like they cut some of the characters that made it interesting, and the story just got a little mundane.
What do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about them not crossing the characters over, as far as using the same actors and actresses?
What
It
do you
used
mean?
to bother for The Flash, for instance, in the movie versus
It
the
doesn't bother
Netflix
me.
series, or not Netflix, but you know what I mean.
But
Yeah,
they-
they both
they're
have a
building their own
different
canon.
feel.
Yeah, it used to bother me, but now it's all good.
Well, speaking of that too, it's like we talked about, I don't know, relaunch fatigue, and now there's TV fatigue. I honestly wish they would go with more animated series.
Yeah.
You know,
Cowboy Bebop was the best anime.
I'm looking for Young Justice season 3 more than most things. So
I'm in the same boat as you, Z. I love Young Justice season 1 and season 2. Like, it was the perfect mix of old school cartoons with new school vibes. You know what I'm saying? With the adult kind of like, it was like the edgy adultness to it. You know what I'm saying?
but I could watch it with my kids, and they didn't pick up on it enough, and we all liked it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm slowly getting through the old Teen Titans. I mean, we watch Teen Titans go non-stop here.
Yeah, I do too.
But everybody said, the other one kind of lets stories develop and stuff. Even they make fun of themselves on Teen Titans Go for like killing those characters in a couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh,
we
yeah,
look like
those
this.
are those are classic.
You see my YouTube post today about them making fun of old Teen Titans, how that didn't go well?
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, those shows are great. I don't know. I tell you what, you guys make fun of me for my Teen Titans passion, but what have been the dominant cartoons the last 20 years?
Turtles.
Justice League and Teen Titans.
You mean cartoons wise, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean,
What are these
Batman.
kids? What are these kids
Batman,
talking about?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
X-Men.
Spider-Man Unlimited. Batman has been a joke. Since Batman Adventures, they've had 15 relaunches, and it's mostly been crap.
What about X-Men?
X-Men hasn't had a good franchise since the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, I'm judging on what my kids watch.
Yeah.
Batman had Batman Adventures. That was great. There have been 3 or 4 versions that have had different characters, different casts. They don't last.
Do you think Netflix could? I know we all kind of love Netflix. Do you think Netflix could carry that burden of picking up the cartoons?
Maybe, but that's not.
They can make
there's
money off it.
They do. They make money off their own cartoons. There's some great ones on there. I mean, Troll Hunters by Guillermo del Toro
Mm-hmm.
was the highest rated and highest critically reviewed show cartoon in the year, and it was great. And there's good stuff on there, but I just mean network is where a lot of the kids are still catching it. I mean, even if they're not watching it live, they're watching on demand.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Teen Titans is one of the linchpins. So I don't think that audience is getting smaller.
No, and I think they're making so much money off Teen Titans Go. I'm not even talking merchandise. I'm just saying the TV show. I mean, look how long it's been on Z. I mean,
between that, Young Justice, and the previous version, it has had a decade of rocking. And Young Justice is basically Teen Titans. We're not gonna disassociate them.
Yeah.
Marvel's had an Avengers cartoon, but they relaunch even on their cartoons so often. They've had all these other ones. My kids will watch a few episodes or a season, and then they just get so confused. It's so convoluted because they want to like tie it to the Marvel universe and have like 5 and 6 episode arcs of shit that kids can't comprehend.
I think cartoons are just crazy these days.
But what did we grow up on? I grew up on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I mean, I watched that damn shit like crack.
Ready? I watched X-Men, Batman, Superman Adventures, Amazing Spider-Man. Did I say X-Men already? X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man. What else did I watch? Yeah.
X-Men, Turtles,
Turtles.
Batman. I've been.
I would consider Turtles even because our Turtles was good. Their Turtles. There have been a few decent iterations.
I don't like the new Turtles. I can't do it, dude. You know, it's funny because, hopefully, if I have a boy or a girl, I'll just download all the 80s stuff and throw it on my TV.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with limiting what your kids see. I mean, this is I won't go down this hole too much. I don't think we should, but it's just the information that people have access to these days is just insane versus what we had access to. I mean, you can Google any word and within 3 clicks, you're looking at hardcore stuff depending on what, filters you have on. So it's just,
that's just responsible parenting, but I'm still saying like cartoons. Are you telling me I shouldn't let my kids watch, the newest Batman version just because I think it's terrible?
No, I'm just. Yes. I was saying, crazy cartoons like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
It looks like something that should be on at 2 a.m. on Adult Swim. Like, holy shit, this is just dropping acid cartoons, craziness.
Oh, my kids like
Disney Channel, everything.
My kids' grandparents are a little less socially aware, and they let them watch Uncle Grandpa, and that stuff makes me insane.
I mean, that's what makes the world go round is differences, dude. I mean, to an extent, do whatever you want as far as raising your kids, but.
Well, also though, I think it's generational. Like I remember watching Conan when I was like 9 or 8 or something stupid, and these movies that they didn't have a rating system back then. I watched movies that I wouldn't let my kids watch for another 5 years.
And like you said, Z, I mean, your kids don't pick up on some of the jokes. I mean, that's half the reason some people still take their kids to see Disney movies is some of the jokes their kids don't get.
Yeah, we were just talking about Lego Batman today with some friends, and like one friend had a girl and a boy. The other group, I have 3 boys, and the other person had 3 boys, and the people with 3 boys are like, it was funny. We laughed at some things that were inappropriate, but it's funny. But the person with like a girl and a boy used to Disney movies, they saw it and like, this is terrible. From even a parent's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of parenting. You can be over extreme and protective, or you can be just Google whatever you want. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to go down that route. What's next?
Golden Age.
Hammer.
With that.
Z, Golden Age. I have $500. What should I buy? What can I afford? Anything?
You can afford a
Post that
lot.
on the page, Paul.
What do you want to buy, Paul?
You got 30 seconds to answer.
What'd you say, Scott?
Post it on the main page.
Right.
Trey.
I don't know. I mean, listen.
I might hit beer number 3 tonight, guys. Just warning you.
Beer number 3. Jesus, I'm on my 3rd Yeti of bourbon. Shit.
You know what beer I drink.
That's true. I forgot. Your beers are like
Reserve.
40 ounces.
I'm losing my touch too. I don't know.
See,
How old are you, Paul?
29.
Oh my God, he's not even in
Man,
his
you have to
30s.
think about it.
Well, I stopped counting after 21. Everyone's like, "How old are you?" I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, it's
when you
fun
get
after
over 30,
I don't know.
you start slowing down.
When I'm in that other bracket, like Ben S was talking about.
yeah, Paul steps it up though. At least he's not drinking Natty Light, dirty 30 cases. Yeah.
My father-in-law will only drink Natty Light. I'll have a couple with him. I mean, I got nothing wrong. I won't go to Steel Reserve anymore. I gave that up.
Wow.
I'll still drink a Cobra every now and then.
Oh God.
My go-to is a 5.6% alcohol by volume, 24 fluid ounce Labatt Ice, found on your bottom shelf.
That's like the upper bottom shelf.
Yeah.
What's funny is like we used to drink dirty 30s back when we were like younger, and me and my cousin would talk about it all the time. It's like, hey, if you're gonna drink with us, you're gonna drink some bottom stuff. We're not gonna bring Bud or Bud Light or Corona. Back in the day, like.
That's because you can only drink that under 30. Once you get 30, you got your body can't process shit.
A funny Paul story is I was in high school. Like I grew up and I went to youth group and I was in the church, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing against that. But I was basically like a goody good. So we're in high school, and I think it was sophomore year, and there was a talent show, and I was in the crowd. Thank God, I didn't participate. But someone was singing Piano Man, and he said drinking a natty during the song. And I looked at my buddy. I'm like, "What's a natty? I don't know what is that." So there was a time where I didn't know what beer was.
Those days are long gone for you now.
Yeah, they're long gone now.
Ready? Here. Let's do a little side segment before we get into the golden age. What's everybody's first alcoholic drink they had?
Red Dog.
Ooh.
What is it?
Red Dog.
Oh,
I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
Any alcoholics out here, at least above of what we're used to hearing? There's a website called bumwine.com.
oh yeah.
That shows that Sean showed me. Shout out to Sean. Back when I wanted to go around town because there's some ghetto places around here there that would carry some of this stuff. Night Train Express, Thunderbird, stuff I've never heard of.
Thunderbird, nice.
That's on the front page, and I was gonna try everything. I don't know if I'll ever do that.
You know you're at a good liquor store if they have more than 8 flavors of Mad Dog 2020.
There it is. Yeah, it's on the front page too. Red grape wine, Mad Dog. I don't know where I was going with this now, but anywho, bumwine.com if you want to check out some dusty bottles you can find at your local shop.
All right, what about the rest of you guys?
I did.
I didn't answer. My first beer was Budweiser, probably from a can
Bud Heavies?
that. Yeah, I don't know. It was whatever my dad had at the time, the white can with red letters.
I'm pretty sure also just a Bud Light is boring, but I made poor choices after that.
Now, if you want to get a double dose of Paul's problems, I'll tell you a side story right now about the worst thing I ever did.
On.
And proceed.
I think I can beat the worst thing Paul's ever drank, which is sad.
No, because it wasn't even liquid. This was terrible. So this house down the street, it actually wasn't even beer. Sorry, so maybe this doesn't count. Anywho, it was an aluminum can. So but it was liquid. Oh man, I don't even know maybe. No, it wasn't. Shut up. Let me continue. So it was a regular can of Coke, I think. And we were down at the end of the street hanging out, talking with some friends, and this guy's dad was out there for a while. Then he went inside. It was a hot summer day, and I was really thirsty, so I grabbed this can of Coke, took a big swig of it, and it was nothing but fucking cigarette ash.
Oh.
And it was so much ash in there. It was heavy. It felt like it was full. It felt like it was full of Coke. I'm like, oh man, nice hot day. This guy's dad won't mind. I'll just take a quick sip, and man, straight. I mean, it wasn't hot. I didn't burn my mouth, thank God. But I was just,
You learned not to pick up a can and drink it ever again, right?
Yes, I'm not that guy at the end of a college party who goes around takes the bottom of the
or you pour one out for your homies.
It's actually a respect thing for your homies, and you're gonna test what you're about to drink. Like,
that's right.
Cigarette ash.
I guess I can tell. So my first drink, my first actual drink was a shot of Jose Cuervo, which that's a man right there at 14.
How'd that go?
Oh, that wasn't bad. I don't know, big deal. But my first actual beer was a Budweiser. But I guess, can I top your story, Paul? I don't know if I can.
I don't care, man. Go ahead. I've heard of people. No, go ahead. I won't spoil it.
So it wasn't me, thank goodness. So my cousin worked at Applebee's, and everybody's been to Applebee's, right? Everybody knows what Applebee's is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So, when you sit at the bar of Applebee's, they have a lot of beer bottles above in the little, is it almost like windows up top of the bar that is sitting there for a while, right? So this Applebee's opened 5 years ago, and this was back 10 years ago. So it's, it's been up there for a while. So one night we had this party and the guy comes over. He's like, "Hey man, look what I grabbed." And it was I don't know, a Budweiser, like a big old can of Budweiser that's been sitting on top of the Applebee's bar rack for 5 years, right? He goes, "You give me $20, I'll slam it down." Me being the strapping young man that I am, I said, "Sure, $20, that's no problem. I'd love to see this one go down." So he goes, I go, "Hey, let's walk outside before we start this." So to his credit, he got it knocked down, and then within the first 10 seconds of him knocking it down, it came right back up. It was like explosion. Dude, it was green. I think it was green. It was bad.
Was it just like balled out? The can was just like the bottom of a can was just. Did it even sit straight?
We didn't even. I mean, we didn't get into the science of it. I wish we had YouTube back in the day because it would have been awesome.
Man, thank God we didn't have YouTube.
Oh goodness.
Who was it? Z, were you saying you had a story too, or was that you?
Mine was not that dumb. I'm just saying the dumbest thing I ever drank.
I wasn't that stupid, you sons of bitches. But let me tell you my story.
I was in a freshman in college, and I don't even know why, but at some point I was mixing Popov and Natty fucking light.
Oh,
Is that even a thing?
It was like
Apparently,
like the cheapest version of a Boilermaker you could do or something. Oh my god!
Beer before liquor, not beer with liquor.
Let alone the two worst beer and liquor is made.
now me knowing
Boilermaker.
Paul, I can't believe Paul doesn't do that on a regular.
I've never thought of it. Now
Actually, if I had to drink it again, I would call it the Paul.
I'll be right back. Oh shit. Well, this is podcast number 3. So should we do 3 Paul's problems?
yeah, let's do it.
Do you have
Number
that
2.
many to share?
You have 3.
Oh no, well, man, we're gonna start on a little segment. I actually
Yeah, show number 20 is going to be all Paul's.
no, I
problems.
can't do 4 Paul's problems.
I think you should save some.
Dude, I have a notebook and I filled up a page and a half or a page and a quarter with stories that I thought of.
Oh my God.
And so, all right, so I'll kind of mix it into what I want to talk about later. So I was telling my wife about Paul's problem, my little segment, and I just told her, yeah, I have my own little segment called Paul's Problems. She goes, what are you just telling him about me? Anywho, talking about your college days, I'll go into. I got to cross this off the list so I don't repeat it. The most I ever drank was in college, and oh Jesus Christ! I drove down to my buddy in Cincinnati, and was going down there for the weekend. And I was 21 at the time, I think. I must have been. Whatever. I bought a bottle of cheap. And this is back when I didn't know what was what. So I bought a bottle of cheap vodka or whiskey, and went down there and I drank the entire bottle of cheap whiskey mixed with 7-Up. Then I drank, and there's more to the story, but I'll just keep it short. I drank an entire bottle of cheap whiskey, drank I think a quarter or a half a bottle of vodka, and then like 2 or 3 cans of beer, and should have physically literally died, but woke up the next day with 0 hangover. It was the craziest thing. But
Did you vomit?
Yeah, that's so
You got it all out. That's why.
a little bit more into the story. We were at one party, and there was another party like down the street and a couple houses over or whatever. So somehow I decided to walk to that party and just go for it, looking for another friend of ours. So I wander into the basement, and I'm in the basement looking for a friend who isn't there because I'm trashed. Of course, he's there. Of course, why not? That's where he is, because I'm telling myself he is. So I ended up sitting on the couch and just black out, pass out drunk. And then I wake up, and I'm over the edge of the couch with my hands just laying over the edge of the couch, half my body. And the party's like pretty much ending. And I was basically a museum piece at this point because I was so trashed. People were coming up to look at me and shit. And this one girl comes up with like red nail polish on her toes, and all I could say is, "You have sexy feet" or something. And then she walked away. And then I woke up a little bit. I woke up a little bit later, and my buddy's like, "Dude, do you have to puke? Like, are you gonna throw up?" Because we're in a stranger's house, in a stranger's basement. The party's over. He's trying to get me the fuck out of there, and he can't move me. And I'm perfectly sober in my mind, like I swear to God, like 3 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon, totally sober in my mind, completely paralyzed, and I cannot move. And my buddy's like, "Are you gonna puke, dude? I'll get you a bucket. Are you gonna throw up?" And all I can do is just move my 2 hands just up just like twitch my hands up, and that's it, and just let it go all over this guy's basement.
Oh,
And best friend cleaned up my puke, and then
Wow.
eventually got me back to his dorm. And I woke up with no hangover, and he's like, "Dude, if you drink another drop of alcohol, you're going home." The next day, that was the most I ever drank, and I will not repeat that in Baltimore because shit, that's too much.
Oh yes, you are. Come on, man.
Not if I'm sharing a room.
Well, there were brackets already. You had to take on leg.
That's what I was saying. I've lost my touch. Anyway, that was a long one. Sorry, guys, but
That's
you started
all right.
it. That was the most I ever drank. I honest to God, I should have died. I think on the way back, I took a leak on the campus police side.
Nice.
Well,
That's always good.
Always a good choice.
yeah, there's more to it, but I'll save it for Baltimore in person.
Nice.
Ask me again sometime. Catch me outside.
What's that?
Dude.
CASH? Cash?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about. I guess you guys want to close out on this Golden Age stuff.
Yeah,
can,
I would love to hear some Golden Age stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you
let's-
guys want to talk about on Golden Age? I didn't really plan a topic.
Oh man. Well, it says your name on it. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Dino,
but I
talk
really
about
don't-
gaming, man.
What do you want? I mean, what do you want to talk about on it though? It's a very broad.
I have another beer here I haven't opened yet. Now you're
I mean-
saying wrap up.
I don't know. I think
All right. Do any of you guys have something that you guys keep looking at, or
I thought we had another hour at least.
I mean, if we want to go another hour, that's fine. We can go into video games. I think video games is going to take forever, but I think this Golden Age is better.
like I said, I can talk about anything. I kind of gave my whole opinion of the market last week of, buy some stuff that you think still has longevity. Don't invest in, talking animal books and stuff, even though whatever I put on the pickups page next is going to make you guys go, what the fuck are you doing, Z? But I mean, there's classic artists there that I don't know. I don't know if you guys even know the classic artists. I was talking to Ben C the other day about some of it, and should I buy a book? Should I not? And he's like, the artist alone will hold you, and you may as well. And I think that's something that if you're going to get into GA, just start looking at some of the covers. Look at the artists you like. I mean, the same kind of thing as now is there's people like Art Germs, people like Hughes, people like Delato, and you don't like all three per se, or you don't like all of them, but there's classic artists back there. There's the Schomburg covers that did a lot of the Fighting Yank and Black Terror, and then he kind of moved over to Marvel a bit and did a lot of those.
Did you just speak English? Because I don't have a clue with
What
Schomburg
years?
and something.
John,
Schomburg is probably one of the biggest artists of the Golden Age.
John, what years does Golden Age span?
Don't ask me that. Listen, there's considered a platinum age. Golden Age in my mind is anything since Famous Funnies 1 until pretty much Showcase 4.
Showcase is what, 58?
Yeah, Ben will argue there's the Atomic Age, and some people won't. That kind of the 50s turned a bit into the Atomic Age, where the horror books and the sci-fi books kind of took over versus the superhero. They still ran, but they weren't as popular, and it wasn't kind of what was going on.
I guess just so Z knows. According to Wikipedia, I mean that's a good source. The time span is between 38 and 50. So I don't know how true that is, but 38.
It varies. eBay has a different one. eBay will call Golden Age up to almost 58 or 59, I think.
They're saying on this Wikipedia page that Superman number 14 was the catalyst of the Golden Age.
That's an asinine statement, but okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, who
To,
wrote that?
to most people, Action 1 is the Golden Age starter.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at that on eBay every day. So I mean,
It's I don't know. You could argue those ages forever. I wrote an article about it at one point, just talking about it. It's all opinion. I think it's better to base it on book than year or kind of vibe, because even there's some transition. It's not like all of a sudden this type of book turned to that type of book. Books faded away and other books became popular. It's not a straight line.
yeah. I guess I don't want to give away what you're looking for. Obviously, I hate to do that. Or even what Ben's looking for too, because I know Ben's a big Golden Age guy too. But any things out there that you could see that goes under the radar, or books you see out there that
I don't know that I think it's investing on ones that you don't think are going to go wrong. I mean, there's books I'm hesitant on. Listen, you can't go wrong with buying early action, early Superman, early Batman. Ben wrote a really good write-up on it years ago, and picking some of those DC characters is great. Wonder Woman is one that's probably going to have some value going up over time because she's become way more popular than she was a while ago. Superman, Batman are kind of like Spider-Man of Marvel Silver Age. It's always going to have demand. There's always a demand for Golden Age Batman, Golden Age Superman. I told you last week I had a want list, and I want to add back a pre-50 action in my collection. I don't usually focus on them because they're just so pricey in general. I think there's other things I like more, but I think it's a part of a nice, diverse investment portfolio. I don't think you're gonna, not to say Golden Ages never explode, but you're not gonna get the same return as like a modern variant.
You're going to get steady growth, though.
There are a few that do crazy things. Like I mentioned before, that Black Cat 50 went nuts a few years ago because somebody mentioned Frazetta might have inked a page. Chamber of Chills 19 is one that is really going crazy right now. I don't know why now versus before, but I know several guys in the group looking for it. I know several have sold, and the prices just keep going up. So there's always books like that. Good girl art's always going to sell. It's just finding your niche, though. I said, find the artist you like too.
Well, that WoW book you posted was incredible.
All right, that was a weird one that I don't know. I'd looked at some of those things before and didn't catch it, and then the last time I looked at it, I went, "Huh, that is a very familiar pose."
Yeah. Those two next to each other.
For those of you that don't get on the pickups page or didn't see it, I bought a WoW number 10, which is a Fawcett title tied to Captain Marvel, Shazam, so to speak. Fawcett was a really highly printed, same as DC. There was tons of copies of it, so it's rare, but not as rare as some of the other stuff. So, the main titles, Captain Marvel and Wiz, but some of these secondary titles, Mary Marvel and WoW, which featured Mary Marvel, some of the Captain Marvel Jr., Great War covers and stuff. But this particular one, WoW number 10, happened to have Mary Marvel in a very similar pose and situation as Legion of Superheroes 23 with Supergirl variant. So I had seen it a while ago and had it on my watch list, hadn't seen a copy anywhere. I mean, I pulled Walker into the search and he didn't find any.
Damn.
And I just happened to hit eBay.
How did you find
Walker
that?
Can't find it.
Literally, I had looked for it for a long time and gave up. And I'm like, Tim, I'm pulling you in. And that same day, one popped up on eBay.
Are you going to grade it?
I don't know.
Well,
all you have to do is just mention Walker, and the book appears.
He listed it under
There's only been
his secret account. Oh, maybe we should eBay it, Z.
Maybe there's only been one graded sale on the GPA, which doesn't include some of the auction houses. So who knows how many there were? But eBay has not seen one in a long time. Some of those books are rare. Like Mary Marvel was not as popular as the boy character. Same with Wonder Woman. The probably same theory applies. Is those female characters did not have the following.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Captain Marvel and the Marvel family. Because Wiz Comics, Wiz Comics, a great, I guess, golden age comic book. There's a bunch of them out there. Z, what do you think? I always see Captain Marvel, Wiz Comics out there.
If you want to get funny, I got into comics because I went to an auction one time on New Year's Day. I think I mentioned it before, and saw an action go, and then I kind of started looking on eBay and researching and stuff, and I really thought, man, Shazam, Captain Marvel, he's the golden age character that's still alive, still around, still pumping, that seems to be undervalued. And I bought not a bunch because when I was getting into it, $100 an issue, $200, $300 an issue is a lot.
Yep.
I bought, I don't know, I got 10 or 15 issues of Captain Marvel Adventures in my head. I was going to buy a run, but then I I realized, holy hell, that's going to cost me so much money. I can't do it. And I don't know. So I don't have many more than that, but I thought, man, this character is undervalued. And then, you heard The Rock getting into the Black Adam, and you're like, they're going to make a movie. It's got to have some room for growth. But being that Wiz ran over 100 issues, Captain Marvel Adventures ran over 100 issues, and they were produced, I think, close to the millions per print run back then, because they just were everywhere. They were all over the place. Not to say that they exist still, but there was a bunch printed. And it's hard to find keys. There's the first Mary Marvel, there's the first Captain Marvel and Wiz 2, there's the first Captain Marvel Jr., which is actually in Masters Comics, I think, which is another kind of tertiary title. You got WoW, which had Mary Marvel running in it. Most of those characters had 2 titles each, kind of like now. But I think it's picking the covers that are going to be interesting. I think Captain Marvel has some that are just terrible covers, or just so campy they don't look at Batman. They have some terrible covers that don't translate anymore. Same there, but pick ones that have space or something interesting on them. Focus on those covers, and those are probably the books to have.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for All Flash Quarterly, man.
That's a good book.
God, it's just so cool, man. And for me, like, I don't know around you guys, I don't see any Golden Age books. I understand, like, everybody's like, you're not gonna find Action Comics one, but it's just, anything between Superman like 200 and low, you know what I'm saying, like Superman, like even hundreds is hard to find around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, maybe there's eBay onlys.
If you got some money, I know where there's an All Flash Quarterly #1.
Oh man, where is it? In that your neck of the woods there?
There's been one at my half price books for the better part of 2 years.
How much?
How much?
Oh, I want to say it's 2,500 or something. It's a big number.
Is it in decent condition?
It's in the 5s. It's not a great value. That's the thing. It's like right at, and nobody wants to buy it because they're like, eh. But it is a classic book.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I think the cover, it's the same. The covers are going to make your purchase for Golden Age. Nobody's reading them now. It's kind of like reading Superman. It's so dated.
You're in the same boat for PCH too, pre-code horror. You know what I'm saying? The covers make it. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it.
People read some of that though because it's different. It's different. You won't see those kind of stories now.
Yeah, I think the other thing with Golden Age too, it's hard to read. Like you said, it's like when they say "gee willikers" and all that stuff, it's like it's terrible.
I
trying to read.
I got on the digital kind of read and read. I don't know, quite a few issues of Captain Marvel and some of that stuff. It's so not connected to the world.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to read some of the Spider-Man, like from issue 1 on. It was pretty tough.
I'm kind of trying to get my kid to read that stuff, so we'll see.
That's the same thing with like Sensations comics. Like, it's hard to find books, man. It really is. Like, I like Sensation comic books, or I like Golden Age books. Just they're hard to find, and they're just like we all talked about. I think the UD guys brought it up too. Like trying to complete a full run of a comic book.
Yeah.
It's tough. I think you focus on what the cover has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And you focus on eye appeal. If the back cover is torn up but the front cover is great, buy it. If the colors are bright and they're not faded and there's not just distracting damage, buy it.
Would you? I guess here's another good question.
Don't focus as much on the grade. Focus on the eye appeal.
Would you ever buy a restored comic for Golden Age, being it's Golden Age?
Yes.
Mm.
It depends on the book. I'm not just going to buy, a Sensation 38. I don't even know I don't think that's key, but I just picked one.
Yeah.
I bought a Exciting Comics 10 without a centerfold, which is the first Black Terror.
Mm-hmm.
It sticks to me because I'm a pharmacist, so he was a pharmacist character. That one just has always kind of been one I wanted. Price was decent. It's not, wasn't a steal, but I'm probably not going to see many copies. I've seen one copy up in 2 years, and unfortunately, I didn't have the money the other day when a 3.5 went up. There's only a handful of graded copies. They're going to go for multiple thousands. I grabbed this one for $700. And I'm happy to have it. If I saw a restored copy, I'd probably buy that.
I think I remember that cover for the for the character, the pharmacist cover.
That's a guy wearing he looks like a Golden Age Punisher. He's wearing a black suit, and he has a skull and crossbones versus just a skull.
Well, what was the comic again? I'll look it up.
Exciting 10. But Golden Age is unique. It's different. The issue is most of our people don't have it. Our generation doesn't have a connection to it beyond Batman, Superman. So you kind of almost have to find an appreciation for it, which is tricky in investing too. Who knows? Who knows if people are going to want it in 10 more years?
Yeah. So when you say that you would buy restored copies, see that's what scares me about buying them is, I mean, so if you're not 100% sure what in 20 years what the market's going to be like on them, I mean, I think it's even now it's really hard to I don't want to say profit off of restored, but it's hard to move them. I mean, there's so many of them just sitting there.
I think it depends on the restoration. I mean, it depends. I mean, a little color touch, sure. Trimmed, probably not. Married books depends on the book.
I don't know. I think back to like my baseball card days, and basically, if there was a 52 manual or something like that, and it was trimmed, it did not get a grade. You send it any grading company, and all it does is say trimmed. They don't even assign it a grade, and so basically at that point it's pretty much worthless. I mean, somebody might take it just to have it, but I mean, you talk about, go from a, $50,000 card to, maybe it might be worth 500 or 1,000. I mean, it's such a huge drastic. And I think so many comic collectors have come from that baseball card background that I don't know, I think there's so, I mean, like me, I would rather have a 0.2, that's just completely mauled than to have something that's a 7 that's restored. I don't know. I think there's a lot of collectors that have that same mentality.
It depends on the book, depends on the demand. An Action Comic one restored sells for a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
But are you ever gonna make money off of it though? Is my question.
Yes, because they're not making any more of them.
Well, like I said, same thing in the baseball card market. I mean, they're not making any more, any 52 manuals either. But
all right, the baseball card market is a prime example of a market that does not have the demand it did, though.
No, but I mean, even when it did,
my kids don't even know what a baseball card is. They're too busy buying fucking Pokemon and Magic.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, even when even back in the 90s when the market was thriving, people stayed away from. I mean, when that graded market blossomed back in the late 90s, they just, I don't know, restored. People would with the black cards and stuff. I mean, they take little Sharpies and just barely touch a corner, and that card was basically worthless at that point.
I think comic restoration has been going on longer. I think
I got a comment on that.
The market is just been around longer, and I think comic is a little more complicated thing than a card. Card has just a few features. Comic has, is it complete? Some of those comics that WoW is over 60, I think it's 68 pages. How does a centerfold not fall out? How does something not get torn out? I think it's just a different thing. Not to say it's not. I mean, don't pay stupid prices for a restored, but on the right book, you would. Don't buy a run filler restored. But a key, especially if it's a key that has pertinent value going forward,
or a blue chip.
If you find a Tech 31 restored, buy it, because you're paying for a comic. You're paying for the cover. So a presentable 5 with some color touch or some tear seals, buy that all day long. Or a 5 with maybe a mirrored centerfold. The cover still is there. I would buy it over one with no cover. I mean, would you buy one with some color touch and a centerfold that doesn't match, or one with no cover?
I don't know. That's why I say, man. I'm just thinking like long term. How that's going to. Yeah, I would say that for the most part, most of those type of things are already. Most of them are already, slabbed and, unless you get, the purist that hates slabs or whatever. But if he ever does sell it, somebody's going to slab it. But I don't know. I just worry that.
I don't think it's going to turn any more negative than it is.
Okay, that's fair.
And again, I'm not saying buy everything restored. I posed a question to somebody the other day because a guy I know is coming to the show in 2 weeks, and he said he had a 7.0 ASM 15 restored. And I said, would anybody buy that? And everybody said, no, because that's Silver Age, and there's 10 or 20,000 AF-15s at least.
Yeah,
But
when you
Golden Age books.
Yeah, when you start getting into that, like I guess that's tough. Even and I'll even say too, even on the Raz page, it's hard to fill Silver Age books. It's like, it's like they're more. I guess I don't even know how to explain it. I guess they're more accessible than the Golden Age. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, there's more variety. There's more like you said, a Tech 31 doesn't come around much.
No, and I've seen restored 1.5s go for money I can't believe.
There's a one pager right here. I just looked on eBay right now. There's a one pager that's I think it's the front page. What is this? It's 0.1. It's what page is this? Classic third Batman cover. Coverless, 2 pieces missing from first page, effect story incomplete. So it's a 0.1, and it's going for $15,500.
Of what?
Of Detective Comics 31.
Oh, that's a stupid listing.
Well, I know, I'm just saying that, but I'm just saying
cover
without cover.
It's a page, right, or a book?
Oh, it's a book. It's a book, but it's missing 2 pieces missing from first page, but it's a complete book. But it's just.
That might sell. That might sell because they would marry it to a cover. Somebody's got a centerfoldless cover.
Yep.
Is it
First,
OBO?
in the first, no, and the first wrap is detached too. So from the personal collection of Jerome Winker.
Listen, a Golden Age is
I feel him on that last name.
Yeah.
Golden Age is all different than Silver because people started realizing there's value in the Silver Age. I don't know exactly when, but they did, and people collected it better. There were bags invented. There were people doing things and putting them away. The wars, like World War II, like paper drives and all that shit, killed a lot of the Golden Age. Also, they were bigger books, so like a centerfold popping out was easy. Hell, half of them were one staple books. I used to think that the DC Silver Age had centerfold detached so easy. Wait till you get the books where half the time they're one staple.
Yeah.
And then break it upon they went through paper drives and just being used as insulation. You hear about Action Comics selling for $100,000 as insulation in the home. They were just treated like newspaper.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing too is, and I hate to say it, is like think of the advancement of the staple. It's like staples back in the day were just little pieces of tin that was like pretty small. Now you got at least beefier. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and again, I'll talk different about a 50s book than I'll talk about a 40s book. A 50s book, even more people were collecting, and it was a little more caretaking and things. I just think a comic is a very complex item, and depending on the book, like my exciting, I'm searching for a coverless exciting to marry with my one missing a centerfold. Just say I have a complete copy. So if anybody out there wants to send me a centerfold, he'd be my best friend. But I don't think it's going to happen because they don't exist.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a year that you stop looking at restored. It's probably near, somewhere between 50 and 55. But there's also a market for people that will buy a restored AF-15 or a restored Showcase 4. The other day,
depends upon the book.
Who was it? Scott? Did you post the link of the restored AF or ASM 300?
Yeah.
Who the fuck bought that?
I don't know. It was like I think it was like 180, wasn't it?
I did because it's a good investment. Okay.
Yeah, that's retarded. I mean, sorry, if there's that many books, don't buy it. But it truly depends on the book. I'm sorry, are you going to turn down a restored Tech 27, Tech 31 because you found a better one?
Yeah, Showcase 4. Same. Well, I mean, I would say probably not Showcase 4 because if
Showcase
you really
4 to me is almost the edge. I've seen some people buy them, and
there's just too many out there. I mean, look right now on eBay. There's like I don't know 20 of them. I don't know 30 of them.
Showcase 4 is my barely exception. I don't know the right price. I'd barely toy with it. I don't think I could do it. I think it's too much money.
Mm-hmm.
But you back up 10 more years, man. I might.
I mean, all those big books, Tales of Suspense, Journey into Mystery 83. You talk about all those books. It's like, yeah, why would you buy? There's just too many listings out there. I think it's
Journey into Mystery is probably one of the rarer of those fucking first appearance Silver Ages, but I still wouldn't buy restored one of them.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, it's almost like listing ratios. It's like, I mean, this would be a good thing for Robertson. Like the listing ratios of books to other books and stuff like that. It's like, like I won't even say Action Comics, even just Superman's in the hundreds, or Batman's in the hundreds, or 20s or something like that.
How many Action Comics are on eBay right now? Probably none. Maybe one.
What do you mean, Action 1 or just?
Yeah, Action ones. Are there any Action ones on eBay?
Well, it's gonna be tough. I'm just gonna sort it highest to lowest because
There was a page the other day.
Here we go. Ready? There's a 9.0 CBCS restored. Let me tell you what the restoration is. I mean, professionally restored includes small amount of color touch on cover, pieces added to cover and interior, cover and centerfold reinforced, spine split sealed, and cover cleaned. That's how much. Just take a guess.
$2 million.
$510,000 from my comic shop.
Wow.
Wait, there's one there?
Yeah, on eBay. Yep.
There's an Action Comics 1
put it in chat.
CGC no grade, 23rd page only for about $1,100, $1,200. Buy it now.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought about that, but it's not a Superman page.
OBO.
If it was a Superman page, I'd pay $1,000 for it and put it in my collection. Just say I did.
There's a 21st page. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
If it had Superman on the page, I would put $1,000 on it and say I own a piece of an Action one.
Well, that's like that one night. Was it me and Jon Z talking about it? That somebody posted that Batman 1 would had the Joker in it for like.
Yeah, that was fucking dumb. You should have bought it.
I know I should have. I don't know what I was thinking that night.
One of those things you look back on, but listen, probably the money at that time, even 2 years ago, all of us were like, the money we spend. We were 25% of what we'd spend now and not think about it.
Well, and me and you talked about that, remember? And I was like, man, I should get it. And you're like, it's kind of a niche thing. And I'm like, yeah, but it's cool to have. And you're like, yeah, it's cool to have, but it's gonna be hard to sell if you need to sell it. It's like
those stories where you
listen. I've kicked my own ass for telling you not to buy it.
I know. Don't worry about it.
It's like those stories we hear. Gangsters stole $500,000, $2 million in today's money.
Yeah, I mean,
but again, it's just proving a point. Listen, I've watched some of these books. I watch these books that not nobody else is watching. But listen, there's millions of comic collectors, and there's a sub niche of a sub niche of a sub niche watching some of the books I watch. And I'm watching just the collectible golden age. There's some other people. There's people that spend $1 million in a book I can't even fathom. I'm looking for books that there's a small chance that I can get for $1,000 or $1,500.
Z, what was the grade of your Action Comics 242? Is that the one you had? You had a Brainiac, didn't you?
I did.
That was a beauty.
What was
it? 6.0.
Action Comics 242, right?
Yeah.
There's one on eBay for $10,995 or best offer.
Now, check the GPA. It hasn't sold for that.
Right, yeah. No, sorry. I wasn't trying to rub your face in it. I was just... Sorry, man.
That believe it or not, that was a Timmy Walker special.
Yeah, probably.
Ugh.
Part of Paul's problems is
Tim Walker could have bought it for less, and he just sat on it for too long. And I
I
love the man
I remember
for
talking to him. He was
it. You were in that hangout, and he said,
I was like, buy it. What are you thinking about, Tim?
and I texted him and said, Tim, please buy this book. If you don't, I want to buy it. And he said, and there was a coupon code that went off, and he goes, well, I'm sure not buying it for $40 more.
oh my god.
But who the fuck undergrades a book like 4 grades?
Jesus.
Like
That's
it was sold as a good or maybe a 3.
Yeah, I think it was like a 3.
But
Yeah.
I was like, Tim, as long as the cover is attached and the centerfold is there, you're fine.
That's like 4.
I think Walker gets burned sometimes because I bought something on Amazon, no picture. I bought a Shazam 28.
Yeah, he buys a lot of stuff, without looking at it.
Yeah, and I bought a Shazam 28 that he didn't want to buy for $20. I'm like, I don't know. If it has even a piece of a cover, I think I can make more than that.
Amazon is pretty good with their returns, though.
It's funny. I sold on Amazon for a while, and I had pictures, but nobody looked because they're just so used to nobody putting shit on it.
Did you have any
Yeah,
returns?
Amazon's wild.
I don't think so. I didn't love it. It felt like
What's your Amazon name? No, I'm just kidding.
it just felt like, I don't know, it got overpopulated. I prefer eBay for their policies, and
I tried to
I
sell
can put
something.
12 pictures on it, and I
Yeah.
just have a standards, and Amazon didn't fit.
I tried to sell on Amazon a toy, and they wouldn't let me sell it unless I sent the physical toy to them for them to sell. So I don't know, is that like part of Prime shipping? Or I talked to Tim, and I tried like every way I could, and they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me list it unless I physically sent the toy to them.
Well, the other thing about
Wow.
Amazon is people don't understand that you're not just buying from Amazon. There's a marketplace, but that's not clear.
I don't know. I mean, I've done some Amazon dealing. I hooked up Big Leg with that He-Man comic he just posted. I want to say maybe it was that one. I got it for him for like $50. It was great.
I'm not saying there's not deals there. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
as a seller, it's not a friendly market.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's a buyer's market on Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, it's not though, because there's people that
Isn't
sell
there-
things that you
aren't
don't
there
have
fees
to. You don't have to
20%?
grade. They put comics as a book, so it's new, lightly used, and acceptable or something. And there's no grading standards. So if you're willing to just gamble money, you're going to get some good and some bad. But as a buyer, if you buy on Amazon, you're crap shooting.
The shipping is terrible too. They don't know how to
Oh,
ship.
you can't combine. There's
Well,
no combining on the marketplace.
Well, let's talk about shipping, I guess. I mean, because Amazon's not the only one. Instagram, all these other people with all these other places. We'll call it.
Amazon is the worst shipping I've seen. Like I've seen comics just mailed in an envelope. Nothing
Ever.
else.
No, I tell you what, if you're going to buy on Amazon, look at the seller.
Yeah.
But the thing about selling on Amazon, buying on Amazon, eBay, I would bet you get feedback. What do you think? 50% of the time as a seller?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's
I don't
60,
leave-
maybe it's 40. You get
I
probably
don't leave
every other
feedback.
item you sell, you get feedback, right?
Yeah. I don't leave feedback though. I buy a lot on Amazon.
But on eBay.
Oh, on eBay? Yeah.
On Amazon, I would say it's less than 10% leave feedback because they assume it's Amazon.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're a good seller and if you sold 100 comics, you might have 9 feedbacks. And if you're a bad seller, you still have 9 feedbacks. And odds are nobody left a bad one because they assumed it was just stupid Amazon.
Yeah.
So shipping is just, it's terrible. But if you find a seller with, let's say 40 to 50 to 100 feedback, they're probably doing it right. You just can't assume the same review. You got to take it by a factor of 10.
Blind Adam threw some questions at us on Google Plus. He was asking me. He asked me what pizza was better while drinking beer, Domino's or Pizza Hut. To to Segu to another.
Domino's really stepped up their game in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So to Segu to another continent. I hate Domino's.
What?
I don't like it. I went there to a local Domino's and I got pizza on a whim to go. It was down a couple doors from my chiropractor and expensive. They got I just didn't like it. I don't know.
Expensive? You can get a medium, like 2 topping for like
$8.
$5.99 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. My bill was crazy high. I don't know if I ordered like a bunch of specialty
you got man.
I think I got.
That's a Paul's Pizza problem.
It was. Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say how much I paid, but
They're like, we're gonna get this the 2-day-old pizza.
Yeah, man. Their driver took my order, and
that's your first problem.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So the driver took my order at the cash register. Then I saw him walk out to do a delivery, and then I'm sitting there, and this girl's like, hey, because I asked for one of my pizzas to be cut in squares because my wife wanted it that way. She's like, Balt, do you want this veggie cut in squares? And I'm the only guy there. And I look up, I'm like, Paul? It's like, I don't know. Your name in the system is Balt. I'm like, Balt? What the fuck? No, well, my name is Paul, but no, don't cut it in squares, I guess, if it's going to be a round pizza. It's like local Domino's does square pizzas. Like, Balt. What the hell? So my wife and I laughed about that one pretty good. Then I went to another pizza place locally. I think it was Pizza Hut, and I got my name wrong there too. So I don't know, man. Pizza places and me just don't mix, apparently.
Well, Paul, at least you don't have a name like Dino, where it's like spelled 50 different ways, and then it's Nino or some kind of crazy.
Yeah, but your last name isn't Wiederhold.
Well, that's true too.
He asked, what was his second question? What female hero do we think deserves more cosplay love? I don't know.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, right. The larger Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing very many people dressed up as like Black Cat or anything like that.
Yeah, I wonder if X-23 is going to get some love at a con, that is.
Yeah.
Starfire.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
I rarely see Starfire. I see a lot of Ravens.
I haven't seen many Catwomen.
I think Starfire requires a pretty in-shape woman, though.
I saw a nice Catwoman at Wizard World Philly last year.
Then he's asking, sorry I'm blowing through these, Adam, but
he said she was a Philly or at Wizard World Philly?
Wizard World Philly.
Oh, I thought you said she was a Philly.
She was a little Philly.
He was asking if we could spec on any action figure line from the mid-'80s. What would it be and why? He was thinking Superpowers or Secret Wars, but action figure line from the 80s, I'd have to say either G.I. Joe or Transformers.
So here's something. I was talking to my brother about this. He's got a used toy store near him that like buys and sells shit. Is that Kokomo? No.
Oh, Kokomo represent. So my cousin's from.
There's a big shop in Kokomo, but the thing is, he said that like you can bring in TMTs or whatever you want to bring in. If you don't have weapons and accessories, they're almost throwaway to them.
Hmm.
It's the little pieces that got lost, the guns, the nunchucks, the whatever. If you just got the guys, not to say you can't make a little money, but most of those resellers, those stores, they don't want them.
Yeah, real quick, Ben was talking about guys who would mark with permanent marker on the baseball cards or sports cards. Don't fuck up the hobby for other people. Speaking of action figures, there are people who will go into the store and bend the corner of the boxes of every other toy except the one they're going to buy.
Ugh.
And there are people who will there are people who will return toys. I know the Marvel Legends, I think.
Yeah, they changed the figure. I've seen that.
Well, I haven't heard of the change of figure, but they take the pieces. So let's say you're going to build a Juggernaut or something. They'll return the figure with the Juggernaut piece missing. I mean,
I've seen them just swap the figure out too.
Wow.
No, I saw that because I was at a comic shop trying to explain to my kids like there was an Annihilus figure in like a Legends box, and they're like, well, there's an arm, there's a leg, there's another leg, and I go, okay, so do the math. How many dollars do you have to spend to get that whole figure? And they're like, 45. Do you need that figure?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
So just don't do stupid stuff like that. He was asking real quick, better Batman key, 155 or 171?
What's 171?
First Silver Age Riddler. It's like
I
a
like the cover of
pinkish
Riddler better.
red. It's a pinkish red cover. Yeah, I like the
tornado.
The 155 is the Penguin one, right?
155 is a terrible cover.
Yeah, 155 is
Yeah. Ugh.
with the
Yeah,
dragon.
He's like
dragon
flying on his.
No, that's not him. It's a dragon.
It's a dragon one.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not even on the cover.
Yeah, I'll show
Oh
you.
yeah.
Side note, 156, one of the best covers in Batman.
Yeah,
On a side note, though,
Die, Robin, die.
I do think those
And,
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's a good one. Shit.
Yeah, 155 cover is terrible.
Wow.
I think
156. I'm telling you guys, buy that bitch.
I've never had this happen. I Googled Batman without the number sign, just Batman space 156 and hit images. It's all that
wow,
cover.
that's awesome.
Except for like the 6th or 7th image. That's crazy.
How many times does Robin die?
It's not a real die. It's
Oh,
like
you
a,
ruined it. You ruined it.
I was gonna read it. Spoiler alert.
but that was redone. It was homaged in. Listen, I'm going on a tangent here.
I love
It
it.
was that cover was homaged in Pax America. I think.
Yes, I have that
I
book.
think one.
Pax America something, because I have it somewhere.
I would actually, if somebody wants to sell me a 9.8, let me know. I would like it just for my PC. But everybody associates that image with Infinite Crisis 8 and Supergirl and Superman, and everybody says they homage that. I would question you to look at that and say that Infinite Crisis 8 doesn't homage Batman 156.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Definitely does.
I'll see if I can find my old listing, Z. But and then his last question was, if you could go, what con would we go to, New York or San Diego?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I think we're all. Yeah, Dino was saying everybody here is pretty much going to Baltimore, at least.
Between option A and B, I'd go to San Diego, though.
Yeah,
I would.
San
I
Diego
can't
has
do
some great exclusives.
I can't do the lines, man. It kills me. Like
New York and San Diego have the same lines. At least you're in San Diego versus New York. New York's dirty.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
San
don't know.
Diego
It's
is
more of a
always sunny
spectacle.
and clean.
okay. How about this one, boys? Which one would you rather sell at, San Diego or New York?
Neither.
Neither. Nobody's buying comics at either of those fucking places.
I guess I was at Motor City last year, and I was talking to this one vendor, and they told me they split spots at New York or San Diego, or whatever. So you get your square, and then you get like a spot on a square, inside the booth, and that's how you pay for these enormous things. They said you got to have 60 long boxes, because if you just bring in a little bit, it's gone by within an hour or two.
That'd be fine by me if it paid for my trip.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
don't think
I mean,
you can pay for it, though, because you're paying. I've heard the numbers for New York and San Diego. They're insane.
mhm. You can't have enough inventory. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I can't imagine you guys got to have U-Hauls.
You can if you're chucking pricing at like 22 times market.
Well, I mean, it depends if you want to move it, obviously.
You don't bring dollar boxes to those cons.
No.
Listen, I don't know. I even like Baltimore is not bad. I've looked at the numbers. It's not terrible. But those two are off the chart.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling like there's that one in Orlando that's pretty tough, and there's one in Texas that's pretty crazy. I don't think those are. If you're not a major distributor, those aren't ones you sell at.
See, my Pax America is 9.4 or better. That's what I threw it up as.
I would like to buy a 9.8 of that book just to match with my
Yeah, it's not
156.
but it's. I like the
It's a
cover.
nice
It's
cover, yeah.
it's some crazy.
I've been watching. I haven't seen one. I think I bought one that MCS graded a 7.5 that I think it's a borderline 8. I would love an 8 or better of my 156, but man, that book is fucking tough.
So So here we go. Let's see if this works. Hang on.
Hi, Homer. Stop.
That's my intro for Paul's problems. that I made. If it was loud enough, I don't know. But anyway, if I had
I'd like a little Mo voice added to the end of that.
little Mo. All right. Hey, I can edit it.
Because let's hear it. I want to hear Mo. Let's hear it.
Oh, I don't know. I got to look it up.
I just would like. I'm just telling you. I would like to hear Mo. Let's hear it. Like that's who hears the problem as a bartender.
That works. I'll look it up for next time. So yeah, this is Paul's problem part 3 for this podcast. Sorry for my drunk tangent earlier.
Paul's the only man that won't run out of problems in a series of podcast.
I've reached out to family to add to this list.
I reached out to family. He's gonna have a memoir. It's gonna be awesome.
I got some good ones on here. I've named them funny things too. Like, let's see. I'll skip ahead.
You know, before you start this, I just think it's funny that he has a notebook full of them. I'd
forget them if I didn't, though. I mean, you do stupid shit in life, and you're like, man, I never want to think of that. And then you end up on a podcast where people love to hear the stupid shit you did, and you got to make a list.
I hope Paul's number 6, because some other guys, like Devo or JB, is going to have to come up with a problem that competes.
Yeah, it's just stupid shit you did.
Okay, so before we start this, my computer says it's going to shut down in like 15 minutes. I don't know.
What?
Stupid Windows. I don't know. I got to
upgrading to Windows 10.
I don't know what's going on. I got to look at this, but keep going.
Oh, so anyway, I named them funny, whatever reminds me. So randomly down the list for some time in the future is a story called Shampoo Transfer. So that's a someday. I'll talk about that. Tonight, though,
I'm going to
talk about, a little teaser. When I ran out of clothes at camp. So this is why I pack like Diana Ross, as Dino can attest to. I cannot go on a trip without overpacking because
okay. Can I add to this? So I'm gonna add to this. So I picked this kid up from Toledo, and we're going to Indiana.
We've never met before.
Never met before. And he goes, "Hey, dude," and I said, "Cool, man. We'll pack your stuff up, no problem." I thought I had more than enough space, and I drive a HHR, and I have I got the wagon in the back. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, we got more than enough space. He goes, I got like 12 long boxes. I'm like, whatever. No problem. It's getting kind of tight back there. Then all of a sudden, this kid brings out, it looks like Rambo, like when he's coming back from the army, bag style. It's got to be like 4 foot long and like one of those big, it's like a Navy man could put all his clothes in for like 25 days if he's going out the voyage. And he just brings this thing out. I'm like, bro, we're only there for 3 days. So that was my
plus my backpack.
And your Harley statue. And the Harley statue.
Yeah, the Harley statue. Oh shit. But the story behind me overpacking always is I went to camp one time and I ran out of clothes. I throw my clothes in a black trash bag or like we all did. And I go to change the next day. I'm like, fuck, I'm out of clothes. So I didn't have any choice. I had to go into my black trash bag, my greenhouse, nasty dumpster bag, and wear some of the clothes that I'd already, because this is Paul's problem. I'm not smart enough to be like, this shirt's hasn't been in the greenhouse yet, so I'll just rewear this shirt or take something off the top or something or whatever. I just take a whole new outfit from this stank bag and put it on. Oh, and it's just so I ran out of clothes at camp and had to rewear just nasty ass clothes, and I must have blocked it out because I remember one of the other kids at camp was getting his clothes washed, like up at the counselor's cabin or something. He had a hookup because he ran out of clothes too. I don't know if I got the hookup or not. I must have blocked it out, but I wore stank bag clothes. That smell. It's bad.
Oh, yeah.
Bad.
It's terrible.
It's just, black bag in a hot sun. Shit.
Well, Paul, I believe Ben said he's not rooming with anybody because of your IndyCon experience.
Oh, yeah.
not having six people in a room no more.
I asked Ben on the low if I could hang out with you boys and drive to Baltimore together, and he goes, "You might be able to fit if Paul doesn't pack it's heavy." So.
He said, yeah. Didn't he say, hey, Dino, yeah, you and I, let's get a room real quick. Say it's full, so Paul can't be in there.
Paul's gonna be the fucking stepchild of Baltimore.
Paul kills me because he goes to Indy. He's like, "Hey, did you guys bring some food? I brought like ramen noodles, some grilled cheese." Like, I'm
like, man, we can go to the grocery, man, if you want food.
We left a lot of food in that fridge, though. Well, I know I did.
Dude, I don't know. You guys gave me shit for not staying down. I'm like, I can go home to my own bed.
I don't blame you.
Sleep on the floor.
Yeah, we just wanted to cuddle, man. We just wanted to have you close.
Now I should have been smarter and just like parked my car and Ubered back and forth for 3 days.
At least your car didn't die like me. So
It's true.
Yeah, it was a good time though. Yeah, I'll go to. I don't know. Should I preview one more Paul's Problems list?
why don't we save it because my computer is going to shut down in 10 minutes.
I will say anybody near Indianapolis should come to IndyCon because it is a great fucking show. It's fun. Yeah. There's gonna be a bunch of us there.
Yep, I guess we can announce it. So it's you and your brother, Mike Z and Jon Z. And then the guys from Forgotten 5 Comics, which is myself, Scott Reagan, and Tony will be there. Is Ben you gonna show up?
Ben is gonna do a cameo.
Yep, I will be. I'll show up there on. I'll probably be there Friday and maybe Saturday morning.
Bring some books. You can throw them on a table.
Oh, that's right. I'll walk away and you can sell them for me.
And you'll still sell more.
As long as you can scout some, it's all good. And then, you want to promote since it's coming up. You want to promote Elkhart?
Oh yeah, anybody in Northern Indiana. Not that anybody fucking listens from there, and I have asked 500 times, is anybody in Indiana or near? But in 2 weeks, March 10th and 11th, that weekend, there will be a Hall of Heroes Con in Elkhart. The guest of honor, the signing guest of honor is Superman himself, Dean Cain of our generation, one of them, and Alan Bergman, one of the original Captain America artists, will be there. So stop on by. The Z brothers will be there selling some books.
And real quick before Dino's computer explodes, Toledo, Ohio, Fantasticon, March 11th and 12th. Dino and myself will be there. I am bringing almost every comic besides my personal collection there. So swing by if you can.
So if you like books besides Ninja Turtles.
No, I have Ninja Turtles, man. I have my box of Turtles still.
And hopefully they're not VF near mint when we drop them in the parking lot. So
yeah, right. Yeah, swoop on by. It'll probably be raining that day too, with my luck.
So, all right, good podcast, guys. Any other closing before my computer does blow up? So, closing comments.
Yeah, I forgot to mention video games. Real quick, there's a game that I played, indie game called Firewatch. That was really good. No shooting involved. There's nothing like that. You can't die in the game. Anywho, called Firewatch, available on all systems. I liked it. Check it out if you can.
Cool.
That's it.
All right.
Cool. All right, guys.
Podcast.
Next. Let's talk about next podcast, Paul. Real quick. Hurry up.
I don't know. What about it?
We're doing a flip flop.
Oh, yeah.
I have to change the work schedule, so we're gonna switch to every other week, but we're gonna do a double up next time. So we'll catch you guys next week, and then back to every other week after that.
Be back Sunday.
See you, boys.
Later.
Thanks a lot. See ya.